ready? Thank you for your patience. If you will rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please place the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. Pastor Burke, if you will lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for the grace and mercy you've bestowed upon our nation, all the blessings you've given us. And Lord, we pray that our nation comes back to you in a stronger way. Lord, we ask you to bless the family of the flu victim we had this week. We ask you to bless each member of that family, to comfort them, and to keep the rest of the community safe and healthy in the name of Jesus. And Lord, we also ask that all the business that's transacted here today will be done with respect and blessing each other, even if we disagree. We thank you and praise you for that. In Jesus' name, amen. And I want to remind everyone that you're welcome to the National Day of Prayer Thursday morning at Luby's Cafeteria at 7 o'clock. All churches are welcome. Doesn't matter if it's Catholic or Protestant or whatever. It's people from all different churches involved. And we'll pray for our nation. We'll pray for our community. And then the leaders are welcome to that event at noon. We'll have a meal for you. God bless you.
Thank you, Pastor. Please be seated. Could I have a motion to move up the proclamations?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Garza. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. City Secretary, would you start with Vela Middle School, please? But before you start, with those with Vela Middle School chess team, please come forward, and their coaches and their parents. You will come forward, come up here to the front. And if the commission will join me down for congratulating the children and the coaches and the parents. Trenches there, trying to improve the program, trying to put funding for the program, and I want to congratulate you, Victor, and everybody that's associated with the chess program for making Brownsville shine through this program and the excellence of these kids that bring to Brownsville and improving themselves and everything they're accomplishing. Congratulate each and every one of you. We salute your parents for giving that support, the school district for having a program and making it district-wide and allowing them, all the kids the opportunity to participate and coach you for the great leadership and your leadership has been there before from early stages along with a lot of other people. Thank you.
A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing the Vela Middle School chess teams. Whereas the Vela Middle School K-6 team finished in first place at the USCF National Youth Action Chess Tournament held in Brownsville, Texas on November 7th through 9th of 2008. Members of this chess team included Fernando Mendez Jr., Douglas Alford, Christian Arguelles, Elizabeth Vasquez, Alan Olmos, Joshua Martinez, Shangir Siddiq, Stephen Barroso Engel, Matthew Gutierrez, Jaime Ibarra, Sonia Tracru, Amanda Serrata, Karina Lopez, and Eleazar Hernandez. And whereas the Vela Middle School K-9 team finished in first place at the USCF National Youth Action Chess Tournament held in Brownsville, Texas on November 7th through 9th, 2008, members of this chess team included Jeffrey Hung, Ian Santos, James Ucoli, Anthony Hung, Gabriel Gomez, Sergio Lambari, and Kyle Valdez. And whereas the Vela Middle School 7th grade team finished in first place at the 12th Annual Texas Grades and Collegiate Chess Championships held in Houston, Texas on November 22nd through 23rd, 2008. Members of this chess team included Jeffrey Hung, James Ucoli, Gabriel Gomez, Ian Santos, and Kyle Valdez. And whereas the Vela Middle School Championship team finished in first place at the Texas Region 8 Chess Championships held in Brownsville, Texas on February 14th through 15th, 2009. Members of this chess team included James Ucoli, Ian Santos, Jeffrey Hung, Antonio Hung, Fernando Mendez Jr., Kyle Valdez, Douglas Alford, Christopher Barroso Engel, Joshua Martinez, Sergio Lombardi, Elizabeth Vasquez, Gabriel Gomez, Alan Olmos, Javier Ochoa, Christian Arguelles, Shangir Siddiq, Karina Lopez, William Shelf, Eleazar Hernandez, Stephen Barroso Engel, Amanda Serrata, and Abel Moreno. And whereas the Vela Middle School Championship team finished in first place at the Texas Scholastic Chess Championships held in McAllen, Texas on March 20th to 22nd of 2009, members of this chess team included James Ucoli, Ian Santos, Jeffrey Hung, Antonio Hung, Fernando Mendez Jr., Kyle Valdez, Douglas Alford, Christopher Barroso Engel, Joshua Martinez, Sergio Lombardi, Elizabeth Vasquez, Gabriel Gomez, Alan Olmos, Javier Ochoa, Christian Arguelles, Shangir Siddiq, Karina Lopez, William Shelf, Eleazar Hernandez, Stephen Barroso Engel, Amanda Serrata, and Abel Moreno. And whereas the Vela Middle School K-9 team tied for second place at the Super Nationals 4 Chess Championships held in Nashville, Tennessee on April 3rd through 5th, 2009, members of this chess team included Fernando Mendez Jr., Ian Santos, Jeffrey Hung, James Ucoli, Antonio Hung, Kyle Valdez, Sergio Lombardi, Gabriel Gomez, and Christopher Barroso Engel. And whereas the Vela Middle School Chess Booster Club, Mr. Victor J. Flores, coach, sponsor, Mr. Tony Mesa, coach, sponsor, Mr. Daniel Fernandez, chess trainer, and Mr. Robert Gonzalez, principal, gave full support to the Vela Middle School chess team during the 2008-2009 academic school year. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, do hereby commend the Vela Middle School chess teams for their excellent record and extend congratulations to team members and coaches for an outstanding winning season. Done on this, the 5th day of May, 2009, and signed by Pat Ahumada, Jr., Mayor and City Commissioners.
We want to thank everybody for everything, especially for the support that this city has shown us. 10 years from now, Vela Middle School may not be here, but we know that this community will be supporting chess. So on behalf of Vela Middle School and the Brownsville School District and every single person that loves chess in this city, thank you very much.
There's nobody here from Lowe's Hardware. This is out next week. Garza Elementary, cancelled because of school's out. Elder Abuse Prevention Month.
Elder Abuse Prevention Month.
Everybody can see that? There. You want to read it just a little?
A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas. The elder abuse?
I qualify thanks to you. Yeah.
A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, designating May 2009 as Elder Abuse Prevention Month in our city. Whereas people who are elderly or have disabilities have contributed to the general welfare of Brownsville by helping to preserve customs, convictions, and traditions of many people from various backgrounds, and whereas these residents are vital and integral members of our society and their wisdom and experience have enriched our lives, and whereas abuse of the elderly and people with disabilities in domestic and institutional settings is a widespread problem affecting hundreds of thousands of people across the country, and whereas in 2008 there were 83,605 reports of elderly and disabled persons abuse in Texas, of which 43,380 were confirmed, and whereas elder abuse is grossly underreported because of the elderly who are being abused find it very difficult to tell anyone and are usually ashamed and sometimes afraid. And whereas elder abuse happens to men and women of all income levels, all cultural and ethnic groups, whether they are in good health or incapacitated in some way, in poor neighborhoods and in suburbia, and many of the cases investigated by Adult Protective Services in Texas involve self-neglect, and it is our duty as citizens to reach out to people in need. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, do hereby designate May 2009 as Elder Abuse Prevention Month in our city, and further urge all our residents to work together to help to reduce abuse and neglect of people who are elderly or have disabilities. Done on this, the 5th day of May 2009, signed by Pat Ahumada, Jr., Mayor, and City Commissioners. Communities and schools. Communities and school. You want to postpone that? Okay. We have also the National Preservation Month.
That's not all the
I know, but I checked with the tape.
elder will.
Okay. This is the National Preservation Month. Yes, Commissioner Camarillo should have that. A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, declaring the month of May 2009 as National Preservation Month in our city. Whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for managing growth, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability, and whereas historic preservation is relevant for communities across the nation, both urban and rural, and for Americans of all ages, all walks of life, and all ethnic backgrounds, and whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us as a people. And whereas This Place Matters is the theme for National Preservation Month 2009, co-sponsored by the Brownsville Historical Association and the National Trust for Historic Preservation. And whereas the Brownsville Historical Association and its Preservation Brownsville Committee will open Brownsville's first Preservation Resource Center to promote the preservation and restoration of Brownsville historical places. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, and on behalf of all citizens, do hereby designate May 2009 as National Preservation Month and call upon the people of Brownsville to join their fellow citizens across the United States in recognizing and participating in this special observance, done on this, the 5th day of May 2009, signed by Pat Ahumada, Jr., Mayor, and City Commissioners.
Everyone's invited for the opening of the Brownsville Resource Center that's happening this Saturday. And we're going to be doing a tour of 3 homes. And y'all are welcome to please be there at 6 o'clock. Thank you.
Where and what time?
This is at the Brownsville Historical Association. We're going to start there first. And then we're going to have buses. And then we're going to go to 3 different homes. Dr. Griffin's, Trey Mendez, and also Larry Loft's home. These homes have been preserved, and they're historical. Be there at 5:30. No, in the afternoon, and afterwards there's going to be a champagne reception at the Historical Association.
No, we can post that on Channel 12, perhaps.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, City Secretary, and thank you, everybody. We're going to go back to item A of executive session. There's no action taken, so then we'll go to
Would be
the mayor's report.
Mayor's report.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mayor. Can I ask we move up agenda item, what number? 26 in the front, so somebody's going to have to go have a plane.
Okay,
Which item is that?
If it's okay, we'll do the item 26, then we'll do the mayor's report and commissioner's report. Okay, motion by Commissioner Atkinson to move up item 26, second by Commissioner Longoria. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye, it's not 26.
I'm sorry.
I apologize.
20.
Public hearing. Mr. Medina?
11. Item 11. I'm sorry.
Okay. Item 11, motion for item 11. Second by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 11 has been moved up.
Okay, item 11, public hearing and action on first reading of protested ordinance number 235-2009-011-S to allow an apartment-specific use in a dwelling G classification for 7.10 acres of Block 38 of El Jardín subdivision located near Bowie Road and Central Avenue.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, this is a protested zoning case. It's for an proposed apartment complex to be located here on the shaded area on Bowie Road near the intersection of Central Avenue. The Planning and Zoning Commission denied this specific use case, and it was petitioned by the owner or the applicant to be presented before this commission. The City Secretary is presenting some documents by the developer. This is a potential tax credit apartment complex. As you may know, tax credits are competitive, but in this particular case, it is a specific use. It is a specific use. The applicant complied with the recommendations of staff to have buffer zones in the rear and in the sides of the property. And the Planning and Zoning Commission, on a split decision, denied this case. So it is protested.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody against this? Would you please come forward? Are there people for it here? Okay. I'll call you after I hear from the against first, okay? Is there anybody else against this that wants to come up here and speak? Okay. Please state your name.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, I wish to personally thank you for the services you render our beautiful city. I'm happy to be a part of this community on the border by the sea. My name is Ben Castillo. I'm a retired minister and current life insurance sales agent for American General Life and Accident out of Nashville, Tennessee. My wife, Marty, and I live at 4640 Bowie Road, which adjoins the proposed project, and have been members of this community for the past 32 years. Marty has been employed by BISD for the past 24 years. She was raised in a Brownsville family of 9, several of whom are serving Brownsville in education and social services. Both of our children attended Brownsville schools and graduated from Pace High School. At one time, I served as president of the Pace Athletic Booster Club. When our daughter graduated in the year 2000, I was invited by BISD as baccalaureate speaker for the combined high school's graduation ceremonies. In an effort to help improve the quality of life for our area citizens, I served on the founding board of Sunshine Haven, an assisted living facility that provides round-the-clock personal care to terminally ill patients regardless of ability to pay. Today, that facility is expanding its occupancy and services. I refer to my community involvement only over the past 32 years, only to establish that I'm not a new dog in the neighborhood looking for a fresh fire hydrant, but rather a tax-paying community member with a genuine desire to serve our citizens unselfishly. In all of my 71 years, I've never asked the city for one single thing until now. I appear before you today in behalf of myself and about 40-plus Bowie Road and Central Circle Avenue property owners to humbly solicit your help in reaffirming action previously taken by the Planning and Zoning Commission with regard to application 235-2009-011. The names, addresses, and signatures of the property owners opposed to the zoning change request are included in a packet addressed to each commissioner I personally delivered to the City of Brownsville offices. I'm not opposed to properly planned and zoned development. Over the past 2 decades as president of a 501c nonprofit corporation, I was instrumental in the development of 2 areas of our city that are now experiencing unprecedented growth. In the early 1990s, before Valley Regional Medical Center was built, I purchased 8 acres directly north of that property because I had convictions that Brownsville's future growth lay there. Shortly thereafter, the hospital, Walmart, Sam's, Collins and Implement, IBC Bank, and others were developed. A few years later, I was involved in the development of 11 acres at 2150 El Jardín Heights Road. Today, places like Mr. G's, IBC's El Ranchito, and at least 4 upscale subdivisions are served by a newly completed 4-lane highway that connects to FM 511 and the Port of Brownsville. In neither case did we seek city funds or tax breaks. Yet you have entities such as Bowie Gardens that not only seeks tax credits from the Texas Housing and Urban Affairs, but applied for the sum of $460,000 matching funds from the city's Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation, according to the BCIC minutes of February the 18th, 2009 minutes. Does not the city, in reality, have thousands of dollars available for housing projects? As I approach the golden years of my life, I want to continue living in the same tranquil, peaceful community that was established as a single dwelling area. A development such as Bowie Garden would disrupt and unsettle not only my lifestyle, but that of many others. The prospect of increased vehicular traffic, lower property values, and exposure to a larger influx of population does not set well with us. Bowie Gardens is an excellent project if it can be located where zoning permits multifamily development. I urge you to keep and adhere to the city's comprehensive plan. I implore you to continue upholding the recommendations and guidelines of the Guide to Urban Planning in Texas Community. This guide points out that part of your responsibilities in implementing the comprehensive plan is to bring professional and technical knowledge to bear on the making of political decisions concerning the physical development of the community. Data was presented and substantiated by BISD personnel present at the P&Z hearing that Champion Elementary, that adjoins the proposed project, is at near peak enrollment. Other nearby elementary schools are experiencing similar near peak capacity. It is ludicrous to believe that schools can be built overnight to accommodate students whose parents choose to live in an area where school facilities are taxed to the limit. On page 9, Figure 1 of the AGUTPC manual, titled A Typical Neighborhood Unit, several guidelines should be considered in determining the validity of the Bowie Gardens zoning change request. I quote, lower density housing, quotes closed, the manual suggests should be closer to schools and parks. An 86 subsidized apartment project cannot be considered low density housing. Bowie Road and Central Circle best serve our community as single dwelling zones. Under codes enforcement in relationships number 11, the guide reads, and I quote, it is of little use to plan and establish standards for proper land use if zoning and code enforcement are not maintained to the standards contained within the codes. Quotes closed. It is my understanding that each commissioner is allowed to appoint a member to the Planning and Zoning Commission. That commission has taken action and gone on record declining approval of Ordinance 235-2009-011. Knowing that you value the P&Z Commission's unselfish and untiring service in thoroughly evaluating if an application conforms to the comprehensive plan and whether said proposal would better serve the greater part of a neighborhood, isn't it proper for us, as property owners who stand to be adversely impacted, should this application be approved, to ask you as a commission to back up and reaffirm the P&Z Commission vote? Thank you for this opportunity to once again witness democracy in action.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay, anybody for who wants to speak? Please line up over here. There's more than one. Okay. Please state your name.
One second, I want to give him something to put on the overhead projector. My name is Donna Rickenbacker. I'm with Marquis Real Estate Consulting Group, and we represent the applicant, Nations Construction Development Company, in connection with an application that we submitted to TDHCA. It's a tax credit application for an allocation of tax credits to develop Bowie Garden Apartments. Before we get started this evening, I would like to take a few moments to correct some inaccurate statements that are being circulated about the relationship of certain parties to our development. First, Louis Torres and his wife Diane are the landowners of the property that we've contracted to buy. It was an arm's length transaction. They are the land sellers. We're under contract to purchase that land, and we negotiated that contract with the Torres' attorney, Michelle Sanchez. BISD, there were lots of questions that were raised at the planning and zoning level in connection with the elementary school adjacent to us, potential for overcrowding, some things of that nature that were legitimate questions and concerns, and we wanted to solicit answers to, so that when we came to them again, we'd have some factual responses for their questions. Other than that, BISD, there's been no board member or superintendent or principal or anybody affiliated with BISD that is involved in our project in any way, other than to seek out the information that we needed to present some factual understanding of the school and its enrollment to planning and zoning. Commissioners, there are no commissioners involved in our development in any way other than what we are here tonight to present to the full body in hopes of better understanding our development and hopefully approving favorably our appeal. So with that said, I would like to go ahead and get started on our project. This isn't the best photo, but you've got it in your packet. I wanted you all to have the benefit of the site plan that we plotted in the neighborhood, so you have an understanding of the neighborhood and how this development is fitting within it. Our project is...
Before you get started, can you tell me where the pastor lives?
Yes, he is on the west side of our... Oh, excuse me. What you're looking at right now, Bowie Road is north, and then you've got the school on the...
It would be on this corner, right bottom.
The battery's out?
And you have it in your packet as well, but he is on the right side of the development.
Okay.
You'll see his driveway that is turning into his home.
So that's the driveway right next to your development, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Our proposed development is not subsidized housing, or what's commonly referred to as Section 8 housing. We submitted an application for an allocation of housing tax credit under the Section 42 tax credit program. This program is administered through the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. The program is designed to meet the housing needs of families with income levels at or below 60% of the area median income. Those income levels, of course, are established by HUD. Simply said, the proceeds from the sale of the tax credits are used by the developer owner as the down payment on the project, which in turn reduces the debt and other costs to the development and allows the developer to carry the restricted rent levels that are required by the program. Without the tax credit funding mechanism, the developer could not build and operate the apartments at the fixed rental rates that were required that are prescribed under the program. With that said, please understand that all the residents pay rent. And those rents are restricted, but they do have to earn an income and they do have to pay rent, and they are screened in the same manner that a group coming in or a proposed tenant coming in for a market rate development would be screened. They're screened further than you would see in a market rate development. Our development, we have put in buffers. I wanted everybody to understand on the south side, which is the side that's adjacent to the property owners along Central Circle, there is 59.8 feet from the property line, our property line, and please understand that we've got a full perimeter fencing around the property, and the closest building from that south property line is close to 60 feet, and then of course you've got your fencing and your landscaping internal to that fencing. Along Mr. Castillo's property, which is on the east side, you've got to the extent of 68 feet from the property boundary. I'm sorry. That would be 47.9 from the property line on the west side near his property. And then along Bowie Road, we are off close to 70 feet from the property building along Bowie Road. And then, of course, from that property line, you've got a 4-foot sidewalk, and that's before you have the curb of the street, which is a 40-foot wide street. So you've got extensive setbacks along Bowie Road. We actually met with Robert Esparza, who's the director of traffic early on, and worked with him to design our entrance along Bowie Road so that we made sure we would not have any stacking or backup of cars or anything that would impose any type of a traffic problem along Bowie Road. He did approve these plans. It's my understanding he's here tonight and potentially can speak to his approval of how we redesigned Bowie Road and the potential traffic impact along Bowie Road. I have in y'all's packet a description of the development, which is an 86-unit garden-style walk-up 1, 2, and 3-bedroom complex. The height is 1 and 2-story buildings, and we have unit amenities that include covered entries, 9-foot ceilings, microwave ovens, self-cleaning ovens, ceiling fixtures in all the rooms, refrigerators with ice makers, laundry connection, covered patio and balcony, fire sprinklers in all units. Our common amenities include full perimeter fencing, controlled gate access. You can see along inside Bowie Road, you have controlled access points on either side into the complex. You have a community laundry room, barbecue grill and picnic tables. You have playground equipment for children 5 years to 12 years old, including equipment for the handicapped. We have a swimming pool. We also have an equipped and functioning business center to include computers, printers, and a fax machine. I also wanted to point out, and this is something that I'm actually very sensitive to and like to get involved in this side of our developments, and that's the tenant services that we're providing, which include, at this point, these are proposed. We like to propose certain services that we think will fit the community and the tenant base that we're providing, but then we also look to those tenants and the neighborhood to help us with final selections of what those tenant services include. But as it stands right now, we're providing basic adult education, counseling service, GED preparation, home buyer education, credit counseling, financing planning assistance, health and nutritional courses. And once again, we will work with our program and our educational classes, as we develop our project and understand the needs of our tenants. The neighborhood. Back to our original screen that showed our development. We took care to sit down early on with the neighborhood, recognizing that this is in a neighborhood community. We sought out and wanted to know. We wanted to be where we were wanted. And obviously we're where we're needed, but we also wanted to be wanted and desired in the neighborhood. We did sit down, we did meet with the neighborhood. Based on those comments, we developed our tenant services, and based on the positive reaction for our development, we proceeded forward. We have a letter that I would like to submit that is a letter of support of our development that includes multiple members of Bowie Road, Iowa Road, and Central Circle that I'd like to submit for the record. That also went to the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. And to take it a step further, the neighborhood sought out the creation of a neighborhood association that was formed and filed in Brownsville, as well as with TDHCA, in support of our development. And without that level of support, we wouldn't be here. We felt strongly that the neighborhood wanted us to be here, and recognizing that there were others that are out there that didn't necessarily agree with what we were planning on doing, we felt like through the design of our development that we hopefully would accommodate whatever concerns and needs that they had, and that's why we created such extensive buffer zones, fencing, and landscaping around the perimeter of the property. There were several questions that came up at the planning and zoning level about the management of our property. We have a third-party property management company. Its name is Alpha Barnes. They have 15,000 units currently under management around the state of Texas. That's all they do, property management. We don't manage our own properties. We do it deliberately because obviously these property management, whether it's an affordable development or it's a market rate development, how they're managed is key to the success of those properties. Alpha Barnes, with the way they screen the tenants, they do extensive background checks. There are obviously restrictions placed on the number of units that can occupy each of the units, and the property manager as well as the owners, through this program, there are audits that are performed by HUD annually. If you're not making sure your tenants are fully comply with the requirements of the program, they can shut you down. They have, and they can, and they do. Nations Construction Development Company, who's the applicant, is a for-profit developer, and one of the requirements of the program is that the owner must own and operate these properties for at least 30 years. Do know that it's important that we have a good property management staff on board. We don't come into a neighborhood, we don't make all these promises, build these developments, and then walk away. We are here for a minimum of 30 years. That is a requirement of the program. At the end of the screening process, you truly will know more about the makeup of the tenants in this community than you will about any of the neighbors around this immediate area, including those that are current rental properties, some of which are directly across the street. Champion School. There were questions that came up in connection with Champion School that I would like to address. I think a lot of this information is online, but it's my understanding that the school's capacity is 850 children with a current enrollment of 751 children, which includes children from El Jardín and Gonzales schools. I sense that there's some overcrowding in some of the other area elementary schools, so they're currently attending Champions Elementary. Clearly, there was intent when they developed this school that these large tracts of land along Bowie Road were going to be built out, whether it's a medium density apartment development or single family. They can and will be able to accommodate children from this development. And I actually went back and had our property manager give me some understanding and a survey of the actual household sizes, and the results show that on average a one-bedroom will have 2 occupants, 2 bedrooms will have 3, and 3 bedrooms will have typically 4 occupants. And you'll normally see 1.5 of these occupants in these units will be adults, leaving the balance or the remainder to be children between the ages of 0 and 18 years. Therefore, on average, in an 86-unit apartment community such as ours, with the unit mix that we are carrying, you're going to see a total of 256 occupants, of which 171 are adults, and 85 are going to be children between the ages of 0 and 18. Now, that's obviously on average, but they have, under management, 15,000 units. I feel very comfortable expressing those averages to you all as would be what we would probably see in our development. So we aren't going to impose 300 elementary age children on this fine elementary school adjacent to us, Champions. Lastly, this I feel very strongly is good for this area of Brownsville, but then additionally do know that this is going to bring jobs to Brownsville, construction jobs, property manager related jobs, and in our economy you aren't going to see permits being pulled for multifamily or housing developments for quite a while. So do know that this is definitely a good development for Brownsville, but also is a development that will obviously bring jobs to this community. I added, lastly, in y'all's packet, a letter from Weslaco. We have a similar proposed development in Weslaco, and we've met, of course, extensively with the city on that development as well. And the city sent a letter to TDHCA in support of our development. I wanted to read a portion of that into the record simply because I feel like Weslaco is not unique to some of the housing problems and demands. I think that there's a lot of similarities in Brownsville. And it says, with historic property...
I'll direct the commission to the last page there where the letter is so you can follow along.
With historic poverty rates twice the state average, we have long sought to secure affordable, quality housing for our citizens, but in the wake of the recent credit crisis, the demand for affordable housing within our city exceeds available inventory. Subprime loans account for 27% of all lending in our community, and already our foreclosure start rates of 8.2% is among the highest in the nation. Simply put, our families are among the hardest hit by this subprime crisis, but the development of Weslaco Hills Apartment gives us real hope to help these families recover their quality of life. It goes on to support our development.
Any questions from the commission?
I've been out there 3 or 4 times, and I know it's in my district, and I've seen all that area besides some of the couple of houses like Mr. Castillo has. Mostly everything down here, around it, you have a lot of low income housing. We're talking a lot of deserted houses that I think the city of Brownsville should go pick up and destroy, but there's a lot of condemned houses there. It's real, a lot of poverty in that area, and I think if somebody wants to put a $17 million apartment complex like that to serve the community, I think it's a good idea, especially the way, we're not pushing that many permits out here in the city. Developers are hurting, and this is a good opportunity for my district. And I know we have people there that oppose it, and that's why they pay me the big bucks to be here. But this is, to me, in my opinion, I told a lot of the people that, not a lot of people, there's a few people against this, but the benefits of having this here. The developer who owns this land gave a lot of land away to the city many years ago to stretch out Bowie Road. It was a smaller road, but it got stretched out by the same developer that owns this land. They gave, I think, 10 feet of easement away all the way down this street in hopes to bring in development. Well, I don't know if people know this, but Champion Elementary bought some of this developer's land too and built that, and they were always under the understanding of what he wanted to do there. So, I think it's a great thing this is going on in my district. I think the type of housing they're doing is going to be an asset in my district, and I hope my fellow commissioners can see that it's a good thing that we're doing in our district. And BISD buses a lot of kids there that should be in the LRD Elementary. This would stop it. They wouldn't have to bus people back from LRD area to Champion. Benya Elementary School is going to get built, so you're going to push a lot of kids back there too. So, we looked into the how many kids were going to the school, and I think they're at 78%, 70%, maybe even lower. But I think it's a good thing. A lot of kids that would live in this housing could easily walk to school. They're going to have playgrounds. There's going to be, like they said, they're bringing in part of this government grant is to bring type of proposals that would allow for counseling, that would allow for social workers to go in there and provide services to a lot of these parents. So, I know there's pros and cons to everything, but I've weighed out both of them. Trust me, I've been going over this for the last 3 weeks, and I appreciate everybody's input in this, but, as a leader in my district, I would like to just ask my fellow commissioners to approve this.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else wants to have?
I just wanted to ask, the 1-bedroom will go for about $400, $450. It's not going to be given away, in other words. When you talk low income, We're not talking about $250 for a one-bedroom apartment, are we?
We're talking about, depending on the unit and the AMIs that we're trying to serve, we're talking about rent ranges from $260 to $722 per month.
What's the bottom line, the bottom one?
$260 to $722 per month.
From a one-bedroom to three-bedroom.
One bedroom to three bedroom, correct.
There's a shortage of three bedrooms.
And the majority of what we're carrying are 2 and 3 bedrooms, yes. Because that's what fits more appropriately into this neighborhood, clearly.
Any other questions from any commissioners?
May I, Jim? Donna, going back to talking about the amenities that you are proposing now, I know you said you couldn't be real specific, but I guess where I would like to, well, what I would like to see is that you try to have a number of those amenities covered, the counseling and all the different services for those area residents, and the home buying education, all that credit deal. You try to maintain as many of those as you have listed here.
Oh, very much so.
As possible. So I'd ask you to do that. And the second thing I'd ask, and going back to you saying it's a possibility having close to about 300 kids, correct?
I'm sorry?
You said earlier that it's possible to have about 300 kids in those units. Is that correct?
No, sir.
I'm sorry, less than that?
That's actually what was said in kind of an extreme way at the P&Z level. What I'm saying is that on average, based on our property manager's management of over 15,000 units, is that you'll probably see somewhere in the neighborhood of
She had said 85.
Okay.
The average would
85
be 85.
children. And that's of course, once again, that's not necessarily
Right.
all going to be elementary age children
Of course.
either. You're going to have middle school and high school kids within that 85 number.
Right. Well, and that's fine. My only question is looking at the depiction of where you have the park or the playground for those 85 or less kids. Is that the only playground that there'd be? It seems that there's a lot of green space to have, to either put at least an additional one so that it can meet the need of those youth that will be in that area. If I go by the pictures that you have on the packet and look at some of the developments, they only have one area allocated for a playground. But if you have some 85 kids, or if you have 50 kids, that one little playground doesn't seem like much. And then when you mention the handicap, I'd like to see what percentage of that isolated playground is for handicap, and or if there would be a separate site for that playground.
Well, I wouldn't want to isolate the handicap into a different area. I think it would be best to integrate that equipment all together.
Okay.
In terms of answering your question about having multiple playground sites, I mean, that certainly can be done. What I traditionally see is keeping that one playground, and it doesn't come off as large as it really is going to be. We actually have a lot of green space in this development, and so that's a fairly large play area that we can certainly integrate any number of equipment pieces for the children. But we primarily keep it up in that area because it's you can watch the kids if it's up there around the community center, which is what this front building is. That's a community center where your business center will be, your leasing office, and then of course the pool is out in that area. So it kind of contains where those kids are primarily playing. That's all. But certainly we're more than willing to put in a separate playground in another area if it can accommodate it.
Thank you, Don.
Any other questions for the Commission? Let me ask you this. What's the percentage of green space you're allocating?
I apologize. I don't know the extent of the green space, but it's quite...
You're exceeding the requirement.
Very much so. Actually, at the planning and zoning level, all they required was that we provide a buffer of, I believe, 25...
Ben, do you know how much is being allocated for green space?
Mayor, this is a specific use, and we were, at the very beginning, staff was recommending to the Planning and Zoning Commission to not zone the school property, but zone most of the property with the exception of a buffer back here. The applicant changed the application request to a specific use, and they allocated more space than we were requesting. So I believe what.
So,
what 16
kids have
back-
room to play near their
Yeah.
unit,
Oh, yes.
their unit, okay, where
It's
parents
just
can watch
green
them.
space,
So
which
there's
would
enough
be the
green
best
space there?
playground to
Okay.
be best green space.
Okay, let me ask you this. What is the amount of the investment?
The amount of the investment is $17 million.
So that would go good for our property assessment and tax, ad valorem taxes for the city. Okay.
City did recommend it, right? City did recommend it?
May I
City staff-
continue? May I
Yes,
continue?
I'm sorry, I apologize.
This is 82 units, is that right?
It's 86 units, yes,
86
sir.
units, okay. In comparison, Ben, maybe you can answer this. If it were built for multifamily, how many single-family homes would go there?
Yeah, that's a good question. And there was a question by the PNZ as well, and you would have an additional 12 more houses on this site with a 5,000 square foot lot.
How much? How many?
12 more additional units, which would be
So the
86
difference between the
plus 12.
single-family development and the multifamily development is
You would
12
have
homes?
more houses
You could add
than what is being
12
planned
You
here.
would have 12 more houses?
12 more
12
on
more
top of
houses.
that.
on top of the
And-
86.
So normally with 12, well, if it were single-family, let's say most, not most, I shouldn't say that. A lot of single-family, really multifamily, because you have one or two families living in single-family. You're going to be controlling that not to happen with this multifamily units,
Yes.
right? Is it?
Yes, sir.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, and also with the single-family development, which is an allowable use on this property, you wouldn't have the perimeter, if this isn't a requirement, this is something that we want with our developments, but you probably traditionally don't have the perimeter fencing. Your buffer zones also are
Extremely
What-
limited.
10 to 15 feet, is
25 feet.
25 feet as opposed to what we're showing here.
So what you're saying, Ben, is that you would have more single-family homes, probably more density of people if it were subdivided for single-family. And you have more green space doing multifamily, and, okay, I can buy that. Let me ask the other question. You said 17 million investment. Oh, is there going to be a fence on the side over here?
Yes, sir, it's
by
a
the
full
home of the
perimeter
pastor?
fencing.
There
It's a
will be
full-
fencing?
Yes, sir, full perimeter
By ordinance,
fencing.
it's required, Mayor, that they
Okay,
have
so
a
there'll be
fence.
screening, okay.
And we
Any
have
other questions?
controlled access into the development on either side of the entry point along Bowie.
Any other questions before I allow another speaker? Okay, can I have another speaker up here? Who's next? Please come forward.
Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Pat Amada and City Commissioners. My name is Lupita Torres. I reside at 5025 Bowie Road. I would like to state that I am a member of the East Bowie Neighborhood Association. The association that I have joined was formed along with our neighbors to create a safe and orderly community. I fully support the proposed project. Thank you.
Okay, do you have any interest in the project?
No, sir.
Okay. This is a public hearing for and against. Mr. Reese, Mr. Wallace, you want to say something too? Okay, come up here.
Mayor, Joe Wallace Garcia. It's a good project. I have one question. Central Avenue is a no-truck zone. How are they going to get their building materials, their bulldozer and everything through Central Avenue?
How they
It's
do
a
it for the
no-truck
school?
zone from 14th Street all the way to Morningside Park.
How do they do it for the school when they built?
Well, the school is something that the school had to go through the state, and that was for public use. And let me remind you, we rode from Central Avenue to Iowa Avenue, just got a facelift. Okay, and they're going to destroy that. Think about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wallace.
We're trying to keep those 18-wheelers with big trucks out of Central Avenue, and you're allowed to go back in there?
Well, it would be under temporary to deliver materials. I mean,
Still a temporary deal, they're going to mess up the street.
yeah, but you can't, how can I say this? You can't just isolate and say you're not going to have growth and make exceptions when it's needed to get the materials from point A to point B. I mean, it's
Okay,
just-
take
I mean-
into consideration,
it
Mayor,
happens-
next time you ask for a bond issue, to fix the streets, we're going to come back to you. You're making special exceptions. Special exception, we won't allow
And
parking.
it's done all the time. Thank you, Mr. Wallace.
Would it close?
We have a motion to close.
Second.
Hold on, there's a,
Correction, sir.
Sure.
I would like to state a correction on that. I am Luis Torres' sister,
Okay, so you do
Okay.
have it
Yes.
listed interest. Okay.
but we don't live in the, okay.
Okay.
I don't own the property.
You do not own the property, okay, but you're related to it.
She's
Okay,
honest.
Mr. Reese,
Mayor, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Fernando Ruiz. I would like to have some input in this property because I'm familiar with the area since about 1987. A friend of mine lived in the area where the school is, and there was a ravine there. But when Bowie Street, when I knew it back then, it was just a caliche road. And you know, I have passed by there when I have to do some substitute teaching, and I have seen that there's the street is wider, it's paved, but there was one thing that had not changed. It was the poor eyesight of a home that's in the very corner of Bowie Street and Central. Now that was a jungle, or I don't know what it was, and I know there was a movement of drugs and everything, and it has been there for 20 years.
Still there.
And now, to me, if you bring something this beautiful here, I don't even know the lady, but I'm familiar with the area. I think it would be an asset to the neighborhood and to the community. And this is all I have to say, because now the streets are wider, now we have a school and things like that. We're progressing, and sometimes you have to move if you're not happy where you live, because you cannot stop progress.
thank you, Mr. Reese.
And improve quality of life.
We have a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Mayor, there's one more person that wants to speak.
Okay. Withdraw your motion, Commissioner?
I withdraw my motion.
Am I allowed to speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Please.
Okay, I'm Ermelinda Rodriguez Jimenez, and I am a property owner in Central Circle. And yes, it looks like a very good project, and I am still against the project. And it seems like it's going to go through by what's being discussed. The only thing that I'm asking is that it not be two level, that it be one level, not 2-story. You understand what I'm saying? That it be kept 1 story. It does go through. That's what I'm asking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You here to speak? State your name, please.
Good evening, Pedro Mata, Mayor, Commissioners. I wasn't prepared to speak this afternoon. I was coming here to support Mr. Castillo.
Well, state your name for the record.
My name is Ramiro Trevino. My home address is 4695 Bowie Road, which is right in front of that project right there. I was listening to the presenters here this afternoon, and there were some things that were said that were not quite correct. I was contacted by Mr. Frank Wood, a lawyer, who was trying to put the association of the neighborhood together. And he asked me if I would be the contact person, because I have lived in this neighborhood for 35 years. We all know each other there. It's a peaceful neighborhood. Most of the people there have lived over 30 years, I would say. When I went to the meeting, and I know Mr. Torres, he's a neighbor, he's a friend of mine, I found myself that there were 4 people there. 2 of them were Mr. Lewis' sisters, which came up here and said that she was the president of the East Bowie neighborhood. The brother of Louis was there, and some other lady. And they were asking me to form this association, to be part of this association, and I said to them, I don't feel comfortable in being the contact person and forming an association when the other neighbors are not here. So I asked them to ask the neighbors to join us. And we set a meeting for the following week. I went around the neighborhood asking the people if they would approve this project, and the response was no. So I told Mr. Woods, I don't want to be part of this association because I feel that I'm not representing the neighborhood. Okay? So this is Bowie neighborhood that they're talking about doesn't represent the people that live around this project. And I think Mr. Castillo presented that to the zoning commissioners. We had a signature about 20 people that live in Bowie neighborhood and about 20 people that live on the Central Circle neighborhood that were opposed against this project. With all respect to Commissioner Atkinson, he said that these were low-income homes. My home is across there. I have 1.26 acres. My home can be appraised about $140,000. My mother-in-law has property next to me. Her property can be appraised about $270,000. So it's not a low-level home environment, folks.
Let me ask you, Mr. Trevino.
Yes, sir.
Right now, we're looking at 86 units that will be leased, that will be single, one family per unit. And if it were to be developed as single-family residence, you would have 98. Would that be acceptable to you, to have single-family residence, if that property were developed?
What I feel is that I have lived there 35 years. I know who lives in my neighborhood. When you have people that are coming in to rent, they come and they go. If you have a neighborhood, like you said, then they're going to come in and they become part of our neighborhood. They're not people that are coming in and going.
Yeah, but you have nice, I'm not arguing. I'm just laying it out. You have nice developments in Brownsville all over the place. I mean, I remember living at Conquistador Apartments. I remember living at La Hacienda Apartments in the 70s. I mean, it's part of urban living to have alternative housing for those who cannot afford single-family homes, especially during these tough times. And also with our taxes, property taxes going down and our income going down for the city, in order to meet the services that people expect us to meet, we've got to look for ways to bring investors into our city and build projects that increase our property taxes base here to allow us to do the services we want. So my question to you again back is, if we have 86 units that will be obviously supposedly well managed, I just don't imagine a $17 million investment not being well managed, okay? If you have 86 units, I'm sure it's going to be policed to where you have screened residents that are coming in. You're going to have one family per unit, okay? And in comparison, let's say a low-income developer were to take that property and convert it to small lots of 50 by 100. That's 5,000 square feet.
60 by 120.
Or 60 by 120. Okay, you would have 98 units. You would have more families there, and you could not control it because it's single family, to where you'd sometimes have 2 or 3 families living in one house.
I understand that.
So the concern is, yes, you're going to have people coming in and out, but the same thing, you're going to have more people there, low income housing, if it were to be converted to single family development. So what would you prefer? I mean, something's going to happen there sooner or later. What would you prefer, the 98 units or the 82 units?
I prefer to have a neighborhood where I know my neighbors, that I can feel comfortable in. Like I have lived there for 35 years, and I know everybody that lives there.
I was going to say, how can you know all your neighbors if mostly all those houses on the bottom are rented out? The people, there's not really a lot of ownership. There's like maybe 2 or 3 owners that, some of the lots I saw had 3 or 4 trailer homes on the bottom, right in front of it. There's 3 houses on one lot. I mean, how do you explain that? I mean, it's not one.
The gentleman that lived there is Ruben Garcia and his sister next door, and the lot belongs to his father.
Well, I know what I saw. There's whether.
So I do know the neighbors.
There are also rentals there that
I do know the neighbors, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Mr. Trevino, all I'm saying is this: is that I know people like to keep things the way they are because it's comfortable. And I'm not speaking for the commission. All I'm saying is that this $17 million investment is not a fly-by-night thing or something that I think is not going to be taken care of. That's my personal opinion.
Mr. Mayor,
And
I
if I'm
understand.
and if I'm looking at, do I allow 98 homes there, or do I allow 86 under this scenario? I think it's a good.
I understand what you're saying, Mr. Mayor, and I came up here only to restate that the fact that not all the neighborhood is
I agree with you. I
in
agree
favor
with
of
you,
it,
yeah. And I
and
agree
also
with you.
that the property owners there do have an investment also. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Trujillo. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for coming and voicing their opinions. I don't know what the outcome's going to be, but, you know. Pardon me? You're welcome to. Go ahead, please. And then we'll close the public hearing, or I can entertain a motion.
I only mentioned the value of my property for the sake of clarifying the fact that it was alluded to that there is a lot of poor housing. My property is appraised at $260,000, includes an acre of land that I take a lot of pride in keeping. My brother-in-law lives right next door. It's 2.5 acres and an additional acre on the side. We're very happy where we are, and the neighbors, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Trevino. Mr. Trevino is an educator. They take great care of their places. Now, I realize that there are some mobile homes, and again, I'm not here to put anybody down or whatever. I lived in a mobile home at one time. I lived in a boxcar at one time. But I will say this, that property is not within that 200 feet affected area that the letters were sent to, and had an opportunity to protest and had an opportunity to give input. I gave each one of you gentlemen a copy of and marked in the area of each one of those property owners within that affected zone that opposed this project. They're marked off. We've got their signatures. They're opposed to this. The P&Z that you folks work with, they have gone on record of saying we're against this.
Mr. Castillo.
Yes, sir.
This is a process that you well alluded to, that you, when you first started, that this is democracy, and this is a process.
Yes, sir.
Just because we have difference of opinion with the P&Z doesn't make them wrong, it doesn't make us right. But we're trying to listen to everybody. I don't know what the vote outcome is going to be. This is the process that the investor's entitled to, as you are, anybody else.
I understand.
And there's always two sides. I always say, on a dollar bill or a coin, there's always two sides, okay? We've listened to your side, we'll listen to the investor side. Now, it would help if those people that you say that protested had come to this meeting. The reason being is, I can tell this gentleman what I want him to hear, okay? And maybe even persuade him to think my way. But there's always another side that somebody can come and say, okay, this is the other side. Did you think about this? And maybe he would change his mind. Maybe he would not. So it's always best if the people themselves come and speak for themselves, that somebody brings a petition. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but brings a petition saying this is what everybody's saying, because we need to hear from them. That's all I'm saying. And,
To finish, Mayor, also is mentioned the fact about property being given, or I guess the proper word would be deeded to the city. We were very happy to do that. That's why the sidewalk is there. Not only I, but my neighbors, my brother-in-law. So, you know, we made the sacrifice as well as anybody else. But to point out that the property owner that's selling this property only gave, you know, because of the large numbers, I wanted to clear the record. We also gave property.
Thank you, and thank you for your service to the community. Thank you very much, Mr. Castillo.
Mayor.
And again, thank you, everybody. Can I have
Mayor,
a motion to close?
Mayor, I have one question,
Mr.
Mayor.
Torres would
Just a
like-
quick question, last question, Donna. Who's going to maintain the greens and all that around all the units? Lights go down, about the outdoor lights go down, a tree, whatever. Who's going to maintain those greens and for how long?
We'll have a landscape maintenance person that it will be a full-time landscape
For the
maintenance.
existence of the life of this project, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, can we have
Torres?
a motion to close?
So moved.
We have a motion to move, close by Commissioner Camarillo. Can we have a second?
Second.
second by Commissioner Atkinson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve.
We have a
Second.
motion to approve. We have a second. Commissioner Longoria motions, a second by Commissioner Atkinson to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, Mayor's report. I will make it brief. The border wall. I went to Washington, met with DHS. I was not happy with what I was hearing. I know they're making some concessions, but still, I think it's not in the best interest of the community. They will be coming before the City Commission asking that an agreement be signed with them, and at this point, I'm not willing to endorse this agreement until I see that I think better concessions are given to the City of Brownsville that protects the interests of the city and guarantees that the city will not be out of pocket. The influenza virus. This is very important. I was just informed after lunch that we had another victim to the influenza virus, H1N1. It was a woman in her early 30s, but I understand there were some underlying conditions. I don't know what those conditions were. There's a lot of speculation. I asked people not to speculate, to wait to hear exactly what happened and how this happened. Apparently she was hospitalized. She succumbed to the virus. Our condolences to the family. I'm asking people not to panic, not to be alarmed. It is a treatable virus, but the most vulnerable are the children, pregnant women, the elderly, and people with underlying conditions. Please use prudent hygiene practices. Don't touch your face. And if you can, don't be as mobile as you normally are. Particularly, don't go to Mexico at this time till we've learned more about, see if we can identify, contain, and treat the virus to prevent the spreading. The dangers of the virus is not the virus itself, because it is a treatable virus and it is a weak strain. The danger is that it will mutate and mix with other viruses, to which makes it unpredictable. The type A influenza is common, but if it proves to be H1N1 by the testing by the CDC, that virus is more unpredictable. So based on that, I just want the citizens of Brownsville to know that everybody's doing what they can to ensure public safety, public health. Everybody's working together, and please listen to the bulletins that are being put out and practice good hygiene. Arbor Day was a success. We went to we did it at Garza Elementary. The children there participated with doing drawings and entering a contest, and there was a winner in each grade level, and they were recognized. We planted trees. It was sponsored by Lowe's Hardware. They donated the trees and a lot of the resources to make this happen. And then we went to Matamoros and we went to Reynosa, and I canceled my trips to further interior Tamaulipas to continue with the Arbor Day celebration and recognition of protecting of our environment due to the influenza situation. The trip to Washington, D.C., I have one coming up again. I went to Washington and came right back and met with DHS, like I said. Now we're planning another trip, a legislative trip around the 25th of May. And of course, the commission, the city manager, everybody's welcome to go lobby our legislators on behalf of the city of Brownsville to solicit funds and whatever the needs are, make them known on behalf of the city of Brownsville. The dedication of the animal shelter dog park in the name of Catherine Brown Stillman was a huge success. I mean, it was just awesome. I just can't say enough to all those people involved in the pet rescue, all those people dedicated at the animal shelter to improve the conditions there and educate people and change the culture in Brownsville on pet care, pet ownership, and pet responsibility. I think it was just a good event. The Stillmans, Valerie and Sandy Stillman, were there. They were very grateful that we dedicated May 2nd as Catherine Brown Stillman, and that we dedicated the dog park in her name along with the animal clinic, and forevermore it will be recognized as Catherine Brown Stillman May 2nd, and every year we'll have a weekend adopt-a-thon on that day to coincide with the National Adopt-a-thon of pets. On that weekend we adopted over 50 pets. If we could do that more often, we would have to euthanize less pets in this city. When I came to office, we were euthanizing over 7,000 pets a year. The numbers have come down, and that's based on the efforts of a lot of volunteers, a lot of dedicated people who want to make a difference there. And for that, I want to thank everybody. And they got proclamations and recognition, and it was a great event. Now, Commissioner's report, Mr. Atkinson, the sports park and the AU.
All I'd like to say about the sports park update is that thanks to our board, we're moving fast on starting phase 2. On phase 2, we're starting with 5 sand volleyball courts. And with the help of Commissioner Triani and Commissioner Carl Cisneros, I want to thank y'all for being on that board with me and letting the people know what we want out there. And, you know, we don't want to start 5 different projects. We want to do one at a time, get them done and move on, hold people accountable and move on. So the next stage would be those 5 sand volleyball courts, which I think are needed for the community, for the children, for tournaments, or for whatever we may bring there. That's as far as the sports park. The AAU National Soccer Tournament, I want to stress that this tournament would not be possible without the help of BISD. BISD, in conjunction with the City of Brownsville, will be putting on this AAU National Soccer Tournament, which will be bringing teams from all across the nation. Y'all need to understand what that's going to do to Brownsville, how Brownsville is being put on the map with this soccer tournament. And the kids from BISD are encouraged to participate. They just got to get in the website, go under AAU.com, and they can sign up. Like a team from Lopez soccer team can sign up and play against the best of the best of AAU. A team from Rivera, kids from 7 and up all the way to adults can participate if they have a team. So we encourage a lot of participants this year to get recognized so you can go to the national tournament in Round Rock. So with that, I'll stop.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkinson. And I want to say one more thing, because there was a possibility that the voting this Saturday would not take place at the publicized sites. PISD was thinking of closing them down, but we had, thanks to our secretary, city secretary, and the election administrator, Roger Ortiz, they worked on Plan B, and they had an alternative sites ready in case it was canceled at the regular sites that everybody knows at the BISD campuses due to influenza. But the report I got right before the meeting was that BISD did decide to allow us to host the elections as planned, and that's important. I don't want no confusion, and there's no excuse for people not to go out and vote for whoever they want to vote for. The polling places will be at the same place as published and made known for this election May Saturday, May 9th. Thank you. Then, City Manager, you wanted something moved up? What I? Employee of the month. 13? 13 through 17. 13 through 17. Can I entertain a motion to move up 13 through 17?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Triani, second by Commissioner Camarillo. Any questions? Any discussion?
I just want to know,
13 through 17.
if I can ask, can we read them all into the record?
Yeah, we will, but
and then
can
vote
I have
on
a
them
motion
individually?
So moved.
Okay, we got it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. City Secretary, would you
I'd like to read them into the record.
13 through 17.
Item 13.
And Mayor Pro Tem, would you please take over for a few minutes?
Item 13, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2009-1503, to authorize the City of Brownsville to enter into an interlocal cooperation agreement with the Town of Indian Lake, settling any issues between the two cities with the Brownsville extraterritorial jurisdiction. Item 14, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2009-1504 to authorize the City of Brownsville to enter into an interlocal cooperation agreement with the Town of Bayview, settling any issues between the two cities with the Brownsville extraterritorial jurisdiction. Item 15, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2009-1505 to authorize the City of Brownsville to enter into an interlocal cooperation agreement with the City of Port Isabel, settling any issues between the two cities with the Brownsville extraterritorial jurisdiction. Item 16, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2009-1506 to authorize the City of Brownsville to enter into an interlocal cooperation agreement with the City of Laguna Vista, settling any issues between the two cities with the Brownsville extraterritorial jurisdiction. Item 17, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2009-1507 to authorize the City of Brownsville to enter into an interlocal cooperation agreement with the City of Los Fresnos, settling any issues between the two cities with the Brownsville extraterritorial jurisdiction.
Move to approve. You want to talk about it?
Well, Mayor Pro Tem, Honorable City Commission, first, the Mayor of Port Isabel is here, his City Manager, Ms. Barbara Collins from the Town of Indian Lake, and the City Manager of Los Fresnos, Mr. Mark Milam, is here. We've been working all together on this project with these fine cities. I believe we have all come to a consensus regarding our ETJs, as you can see in the map. And I'll go very quickly over them. This little orange square is the Town of Indian Lake, and then Los Fresnos in here, Bayview, Laguna Vista, and Port Isabel. I believe all of this, you have agreements in your packet. The Port Isabel would like a few changes, but we'll do that in our second reading. Consensus among city staff, Mr. Mark Saucy, who's reviewed the agreements and worked closely with myself and Allison Bastian from our office. And over the last few weeks, we've been working very hard with them, a lot of good communication, and hopefully this communication will be ongoing from now on. But as you can see from our map, that's what this administrations have agreed to. We agreed to as well, and I think it's a benefit for the whole Southern Cameron County.
First, Mayor Ochoa and the other distinguished guests, welcome to our chambers on behalf of the City of Brownsville. Welcome and thank you for making the time and coming all the way down to Brownsville and joining us here for these proceedings. To assure you, on my behalf, and I'm sure I share the same sentiment with other members of the council, that when we took upon this a couple of years ago, this was never intended to landlock you. This was never intended to hinder any growth in your cities. This was simply so that we could continue to share and to continue with the same responsibility and with the same work ethic that we continue to work with you. So once again, on behalf of myself and on behalf of the city, welcome to our chambers, welcome to the City of Brownsville, and we look forward to a fruitful and prosperous journey with you in the future. Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Joe Vega.
Because you look like Benny.
Well, I look like Benny, but he's about this tall. Yeah. I'd like to thank you all very much for your dedication to this and for this accomplishment. And it shows how when we all come together for a common goal and we work together, you know, it shows that things get done. And we appreciate, you know, everything y'all been doing. I'd like to thank Mr. Medina and his staff as well. And we've, for many years, I know I have approached several of the commissioners here and talked to them about the situation. And now, you know, speaking on behalf of Port Isabel, and I'm sure I'm also speaking on behalf of the small communities as well that have been impacted by the ETJs. Now we feel that we have the same that y'all have, the opportunity growth. And I'd like to thank all of y'all for coming together and making this happen. And I appreciate it. And like Mr. Medina said, in Portersville, we received the agreement on Friday. We just had just a couple of minor changes, nothing too big, but it'll be presented at the second reading. But I appreciate this, and I thank you for putting this item on the agenda, and hopefully it'll get passed today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor Vega.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you coming through and working with us.
Thank you, sir.
And everyone else as well. Thank you.
I got a motion from Commissioner Cisneros to close public hearing. Second by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? Not all opposed? Motion carries, sorry.
We did.
We had a public hearing. Oh, public, does anybody want to reopen?
Did you have comment?
No, what?
Did you want to make a comment? You want to?
I'll make a motion to reopen public hearing.
Second.
Commissioner Cisneros is going to motion to reopen public hearing, seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're sorry, Mr. Ruiz.
No problem, sir. My name is Fernando Ruiz. I have addressed this matter to the City Commission before concerning the extraterritorial jurisdiction. And I am aware of what goes along with the program about security, about fire, about this, about that. And I would like to know where we're going, because if I remember correctly, the mayor of Los Fresnos rescinded some of his extraterritorial jurisdiction, and I never got a chance to ask him why. And I understand that the Hudson properties are coming in there now. And there's some questions that are not answered. I visited with a map this morning, the districts, and we have a piece of land that goes all the way up to Arroyo City or what? What are we doing over there? I mean, what are we doing over there? Because we cannot handle what we have here. We are understaffed in the police department. We do not have security. Mr. Garcia is having problems keeping his people because he has to pay them a little bit more so they can stay with him. We're understaffed. Maybe, I would not have the exact number. I'll say 50 policemen. Maybe so. No? I'm not sure. But I'm trying to say, why do we want to grow? I mean, we can't handle what we have here already. Our streets are all messed up. We need more security. We have a tremendous fall in the economy. What are we doing in that radius so far away from home? You know what I mean? We have no business over there. We have no business, and we need to keep Brownsville small because we don't want to grow anymore, because you know what? It costs us millions and millions to grow. And every time, who is penalized for it is the ratepayer, the taxpayer. Just in the water project that I was watching on TV the other day that I could not come to the meeting, we're talking about $212 million. But how much do we owe already? Before we get out of this one, we're going to be in the $2 billion debt. And our sales taxes have fallen, which I predicted to you 3 years ago when the hedge funds. We are not planning properly. We have no business extending territorial jurisdiction. We have to first provide for what we already have. We cannot, we're behind in our streets, paving and with this and that. We're out of line. We're out of line. And I would appreciate if you consider this and give them back their territorial jurisdiction. We don't want to go over there. We need to keep our area.
Mr. Reese,
and take care of it, sir.
20 years ago, people thought Alton Glory was too far out, too. Look where
Pardon me, sir?
20 years ago, people thought Alton Glory was too far out, too. Look where we're at.
Sir.
We're growing.
Mr. Atkinson, with all due respect, we cannot afford to grow anymore. Let me explain to you, sir. There is a school that's being built in Military Highway. They have already invested $60 million, and they don't have water, and they don't have sewer, and they don't have electricity yet. And they're $10 million over budget. What are we doing over there? We're just on the boundary with San Benito. If the school would have been more centralized in Villanueva, where you have students that can maybe ride a bicycle to school instead of having to bus them all the way over there and bring them back, we need to start cutting down, sir, because we're not going to have the money to to maintain this infrastructure, and where we're going to go maybe is into bankruptcy. Our neighbor in the south is in a worse situation than we are. 600,000, I don't know how many people are in the unemployment rolls right now. We have to look at all these things, sir, because
we cannot remain.
Mr. City Mayor from La Fresno said, you know what, I'm coming back. And I think
Mr. Reese.
Hudson is coming in.
Mr. Reese, we cannot
utility district that's going to cost who? The taxpayers.
We cannot remain.
We're going in circles, huh?
Mr. Reese, we cannot remain stifled.
You cannot what, sir?
Remain stifled. We have to move on. We have to grow. You know.
No.
You want us to sit back and be.
You can grow when you can afford it.
With what we have.
We cannot afford it.
I'm going to jump in with a point.
We cannot afford it, Mr.
Excuse
Garza.
me, Mr. Reese.
We cannot afford to grow because we do not have.
Excuse me. I'm going to
money.
jump in with a point of order. The exact items on the agenda are 4 or 5 interlocal agreements with specific municipalities. That's the subject of the public comment. We seem to be going off on other things here.
I'm talking about public comment because I'm addressing this issue, sir, which I am
No,
familiar
but-
with, because I know also that maybe we already have infrastructure headed towards Bayview, and who is going to benefit from it? The developers again? You know, this is a win-win situation for the developers and the PUD, and it's a no-win situation because I saw you, and I noticed what you said. It is a no-win situation for the citizens of Brownsville that we have to continue paying taxes, increasing the rates of the PUB. We're not going to be able to handle it anymore because they're obligated by Moody, by Standard & Poor, and by Fitch within the next from up to 2027 for this monies that they want. They're compromised to increase the rates for this water and water treatment that they want. We can't handle it, sir.
Okay.
We're not going to have the money.
Thank
And
you.
the taxpayers are up to their necks, and remember, they've lost their jobs.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Move to close.
Can I move to, did anybody else want to talk?
I believe we have one more.
We got one more.
Well, my brother here, Reese. My name is Alex Resendez. I mean, you guys already know me. He makes sense porque I live way over there on the other side of Alton Glory. It's beautiful. We have been expanding, and I don't know how Brownsville's been keeping the growing. We have been growing a lot, thanks to the Sunrise Mall and to all those big entities that bring in millions of dollars. I believe that sometimes you give land and then you get land and then you go and you annex and you go forward and forward. But commissioners, with all due respect, and the mayor's not there, Brownsville, I'm talking about right here where we are. I'm talking about the bridge. I'm talking about Elizabeth Street. I'm talking about Old Brownsville. Muchos años para atrás yo viví en San Antonio. I lived in San Antonio. And the old San Antonio was beautiful. Even though they had brick, the streets were made of brick. ¿Me entiendes? But it was beautiful. Beautiful restaurantes, Mexican food and all that. Brownsville, the city down here, aquí donde estamos ahorita, needs to be rejuvenated. It needs to be picked up. Si dejamos aquí, we got a gold mine right here, como San Antonio. Aquí podía haber restaurantes muy bonitos. Antes teníamos el café, Fisher's Café, y el otro café. People would come over here. Now over there where I live, because of Sunrise Mall and the other ones, we have annexed, we have grown, thanks to you all, thanks to Brownsville. I don't know how you all been doing it. I don't know how much money you all owe. Pero tiene razón también mi amigo Ruiz, ¿verdad? We do have to grow. Tiene razón, Mr. Ruiz. We cannot afford it. Now, if you guys fix aquí, donde estamos ahorita, Elizabeth Street, no, right here, donde estaba el Jardín Hotel. See, I grew right here before some of you guys were born, and it was a beautiful place. We had the Majestic Theater, we had Fisher's Café, it was a beautiful town. Pero ahorita ya está rotten, está peor que Matamoros aquí. So let's think about that. Let's not criticize too much my buddy, because he's my friend and he's doing something. that he thinks it's doing right. We do have to progress.
What was that? Was peor de Matamoros?
Dime.
Brownsville was peor
Excuse
de
me,
Matamoros?
I'm gonna object again with interject a point of order. This is
No, está bien,
public
that's okay.
hearing and action on 5 ordinances. This isn't public comment, and the comments should be directed at the specific ordinances that are before the commission at this time.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Attorney. Mr. Attorney, I don't know if you understand my language. Do I have to speak Spanish? I'm saying that if you cannot take care of the city of Brownsville right here, exactly what he said. What the hell are you doing somewhere else?
Okay, thank you,
You're an attorney. Figure it out. This is very hard.
thank you, Mr. Resendez. You're out of order. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Move to close.
This is a public hearing, we have a motion to close.
Second.
And a second, Commissioner Camarillo makes a motion, second by Commissioner Atkinson. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a
Items
motion and a
13,
second.
14, 15, 16, and 17.
Okay, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, motion to approve by Commissioner Camarillo, and seconded by Commissioner Garza.
I have a question, if we're going to have a discussion after
Yes.
this. Okay.
Commissioner Trani?
Mr. Medina, you're recommending that we accept this interlocal agreement, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and you staffed it with the city attorney, and he's approved the agreement as is, correct?
As is right now.
As is. And we're approving the agreement as is, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
What about the minor changes?
And that's the agreement in your packet.
Thank you.
Can you tell me again who participated in the negotiations?
Yes, Commissioner, Mr. Saucy, myself, and Ms. Allison Bastian met with each individual mayor and sometimes aldermen or with their respective city and city managers.
Thank you. Okay. And we have, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries based on the recommendation of planning department there.
Mayor, can I make
Okay.
a motion to move item 25 up?
We have a motion by
Second.
Commissioner Cisneros to move item 25.
Second.
Can we just move the whole agenda?
Can I have a second?
Second.
We have a section by Commissioner Camarillo. Any discussion?
This was placed.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Go ahead.
Okay?
Go ahead.
Can I read the item, please?
You need to read the item.
Item 23, consideration and action on
25.
I'm sorry. Item 25, consideration and action on resolution number 2009-034 in support of economic development at Sunrise Mall.
Item 25, okay.
This is was put on the agenda, Mayor. It went through BCIC, where the BCIC board voted and had action on a letter of support. And what that letter of support is a support for a development at Sunrise Mall. Basically, Sunrise Mall is willing to work with a developer that will bring a huge hotel with a conference center attached to it, attached to Sunrise Mall. Basically, it would be something like San Antonio with the Marriott attached to the Riverwalk. Most cities are going to this type of concept, and it's a letter of support to continue negotiations with the developer and Sunrise Mall. And they're here. If anybody has something to say. But I think it's a good thing for Brownsville if everything turns out right. Talking and with the developer, with Sunrise Mall, I think it'd be something good for Brownsville. If anybody else wants to say anything about that?
In fact, I actually spoke with Mr. Doug Phillips and told him anything we could do as a city to assist. We're willing to. I wrote him a letter of support, and I'm sure the Chamber, the BDC, the Convention Visitors Bureau, and the citizens of Brownsville, along with the Commission, the City Manager, support this, and I think it's something good for tourists to come and have the convenience of staying near a shopping place where they can spend their money and increase their sales receipts. And at the same time, we'll be able to host events and compete with other cities to hold smaller conventions and meetings that we're lacking or cannot compete for at this time. So with that said, anybody want to say anything else?
Motion to approve, Mayor.
A motion to approve by Commissioner Cisneros, second by Commissioner Garza. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for the work you do. Very much. Appreciate it. Item 25. Okay, can we go back to the normal?
The next item would be
Please.
Employee of the Month, Mayor.
We left that one out. I am sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. We should have done that up front. Okay, you take care. Thank you. Employee of the Month. Who do we have?
Mayor, City Commissioners, please help me welcome our Employee of the Month for May, Maria Magdalena Martinez. And she's a very patient lady. She works at the City
Congratulations,
Secretary's office.
Maggie?
So,
Maggie.
Congratulations,
Known as Maggie.
yeah, we call her Maggie, and she's a very patient lady. Obviously, you've seen she's been waiting. She works at the City Secretary's office, so she understands the uniqueness of the City Commission meeting. Maria's been with the city for 25 years. She served 11 years, had a break of 4 years, and came back, and she's in her 14th year. So obviously, she is dedicated to the city. She's got a lot of responsibilities within the City Secretary's office, overseeing records, retention schedules, scanning index records, researching municipal paving liens and other municipal records. And one of the things that she does for us is she oversees a lot of the activity and things that occur at the city cemetery when people need information and things like that. So she's godsend as far as that goes, because we really have a lot of records and a lot of updating to do there. She works with the other employees and their responsibilities. She has accomplished training and certification for Texas Acknowledgement of Paternity, which allows her to help in the Vital Statistics Department division and also do electronic document management process. So she's been great for us, and obviously she's been here a long time. And obviously, when we have new employees, she's always there to help them out and get them started at that very important position. She gets a plaque. Maggie Martinez, you don't want me to say Maria. In recognition of outstanding services rendered to the city of Brownsville. Congratulations, Employee of the Month for May 2009.
Congratulations, Maggie.
Congratulations. She gets the employee pins. And we've always traditionally given her a hat. I don't know if she's going to wear it much, but it's a souvenir. And she is eligible for the Employee of the Year at our banquet in December. So congratulations, Maggie Martinez.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Maggie.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes, it's been great working for the city, and Pete over there is the guilty one. He hired me in 1978.
Oh, Pete.
The first time I worked for the city. I love working for the city. I've met a lot of mayors, a lot of commissioners, and I still see them sometimes for lunch. So when they see me, usually they pay for me. You know, that when they bump into me. No, really, everybody knows me. I'm sorry, but it's great. I love my job. What can I say? Stella's a great boss. Thank you, Stella, for this honor, Mayor and Commissioner. Thank you.
Congratulations, Maggie. And I must say, every time I dealt with her, she has a smile on her face. I've never seen her without a smile. Thank you, Maggie.
And take a break. Estella will buy her the lunch this time.
Huh?
Estella will buy her lunch this time, so take a break.
This time.
Okay. So, guys, remember lunch on you. Consent agenda items.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cisneros, second by Commissioner Longoria. Motion by Commissioner Camarillo, second by Commissioner Longoria. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item
Item 6.
6.
Item 6, consideration and action to appoint an ex officio member to the Brownsville Convention and Visitors Bureau.
That's mine, Mayor. I would like to make a motion that we appoint Commissioner Atkinson to that board as an ex officio.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Garza. Can I have a second?
Second.
It dies for lack of a second. We have a second by Commissioner Cisneros. All in favor?
Wishful thinking there.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 7.
Item 7, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint one member to the Brownsville Beautification Committee.
Okay, I think that's my appointment. I believe the person on there wants to be reappointed.
Yeah, Honorable Mayor, that's correct. Mr. Patrick
Willis,
Willis.
is that right? His name?
Mr. Patrick Willis has an interest in continuing to serve.
I don't have no problem with that. That is my appointment, right? Okay. Yeah, I don't have no problem with that. If he's willing to serve, and God help him, and we welcome him.
Second.
Thank you.
I'll second the
Commissioner
motion.
Camarillo seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.
Item 8, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint members to the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee.
If I may, I would like to see, for the past 2 years that I've been involved with the animal shelter, and the Animal Advisory Committee has not been very active. And I believe that's because we need to appoint people who are directly involved with the animal rescue effort. So any appointments, I hope the commission will consider putting people that are involved in that effort, because I think then you will see more of an engagement between the committee and those who are out there working tirelessly to improve conditions and the adoptions and the education of animal pet care and ownership and responsibility. With
Mayor,
that,
Mayor, may I make a comment?
I open it up to...
Mayor, may I make a comment?
Sure.
I just want to say that this committee hasn't been set up as other committees. Some of these members have served for 7 years. I don't think there's a committee within the city of Brownsville that has members that have served so long. Therefore, many of these members, and you're correct, have not served or been willing to for different reasons, but it's because of the setup and the creation of the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee. The way it's been organized hasn't been, I think, respective of the other committees that we've organized. And so I want to make very clear on why that is. You have a lot of indefinite terms. I've never seen that before, and I mean, as far as I've been involved in committees and things of that nature. So that's part of the problem, and that's what we want to fix real soon with good members that will be participating. And hopefully, I look forward to help continuing with that process.
And let me add this: I don't want to take anything away from them. The things they've done in the past, I'm sure they're good. I'm just referring to the time since I've been elected to now. I would like to see more activity and involvement by the committee, and I want to thank those who have served in the past and their accomplishments throughout their tenure there. But from here on, I'd like to see shorter terms, like Commissioner Camarillo stated, but also people who are directly involved with the animal rescue of the city of Brownsville here. So with that, does anybody have how many appointments are up? 4?
3.
There's 3.
I'd like to make one if it's possible.
Well, Mayor, since I have one, Mr. De La O got into a major accident. Therefore, he was just recently appointed. He's not going to be able to fulfill his term. I'd like to appoint Gina Mota, who serves an interest in wanting to be a part of this committee and work as hard as possible. So I'd like to nominate her.
Who are you appointing?
Gina Mota.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
No,
all in favor?
Didn't get a chance to do it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, I guess it dies.
No. Well, there's not an application on record, and if I have to wait till there's an application,
you can make it subject to the application.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
So then, Gina, my nomination is for Gina Mota.
Subject to the application, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, subject to the application, and if the person is willing,
Yes.
all in favor?
Aye.
I oppose. Okay, I mean, I go ahead and approve. I'd like to appoint Edgar Trevino to the Animal Advisory Committee.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion?
Is he the one that works for the city of Brownsville right now?
No, he used to own KPUR, and he's very active in animal issues.
Yeah, he's very active.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
And he would be
Subject to him filling out the application and wanting to serve.
Would he be replacing?
Pardon me?
Who would he be replacing?
Arturo, who you replacing?
Sue Alton.
Sue Alton?
Yes.
Correct.
There's 3 vacancies, you said?
One more.
We have another appointment. What is the wishes of the commission?
The third one is Mr. Cepeda, and that was Commissioner Royals, so that'd be Commissioner Troyani's appointment.
I'm going to wait until I get the application, and then I guess at the next meeting, are the other people going to present their applications, or at that point they're going to be waived? Is that the way we're going to do this, or how are we going to do this? Because I would like to wait until I have the
It's subject to the
applicant.
application being filled out. So that was what the motion was.
I'd prefer to wait until I actually have the application in hand, and then we can do that.
That's your preference, okay.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion to table that one?
Move the table.
Motion to table. Can we have a second? Commissioner Garza seconds. Commissioner Camarillo makes a motion. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9.
Item 9, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint citizens to the Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee.
Okay, is that my appointment?
No, it's Mr. Atkinson and Mr. Longoria.
I thought it was
I have
Cisneros.
one, right?
No, Mr. Longoria already,
No, Cisneros, wasn't he? Because
No,
Willie
I thought I had
Anderson.
no,
Willie Anderson.
it was Mary Tolman.
I
That's
believe I
mine.
have
Yeah, and Sue Alton, Mr. Longoria.
Okay, then there's 3 because Willie Anderson resigned.
Yeah, well, my appointment is resigning.
Is resigning?
Yeah, I think he,
We didn't have a
sent
letter.
it.
Yeah, he resigned.
still out.
I think he already resigned.
He already did.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I believe I have
Go
one.
ahead.
Did you get that,
Am I
Griselda.
correct from that?
You need him quick, right? Because you're already
Griselda.
having these meetings? I don't know.
Griselda?
I
Did you
would
get the
like to make a
application for
motion
Jaime Perez?
to appoint Jesse A. Lucio. He's a BISD employee, has been for 30 years.
Second.
Okay, who's he replacing?
The vacant
Sue
spot.
Alton?
Sue Alton.
We already did that, Ben.
No,
I'm sorry,
she
yes,
was-
you're right.
she served
My-
on this committee as
That's correct.
Okay, that's the vacant one, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the person you're appointing is who?
Jesse A. Lucio,
Jesse Lucio.
been with BISD for 30 years.
Yes. That's very good. Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Garza, second
Second.
by Commissioner Camarillo. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion
And we have an
carries.
application.
I want to make a motion to
Yeah, no, we do.
appoint Mr. Jaime Perez in place of Mr. William Anderson, and I think he faxed over an application, so we're going to get copies of it.
I'll second that.
Jaime Perez,
Jaime Perez in place of who?
Mr. William Anderson.
William Anderson. Okay, we have a second by Commissioner Atkinson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
And I have a vacant, but I'll bring it next meeting. I'll table that.
Second.
Who was it?
Move to table, I was waiting for an application to come in.
Okay, motion to table?
Table mine.
Second.
Okay, and second by Commissioner Triani to table. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that's it? That's it? Okay. Thank you all. And the next item,
Item 10.
10.
Public hearing and action on the substantial amendment to the Consolidated Plan 2008 Action Plan for the Homelessness Prevention and Rapid Rehousing Program for the City of Brownsville.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, as part of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, the City of Brownsville has been allocated $1,347,839. In this public hearing, I would like to read the following. And this money is for people that have lost their homes to foreclosure or other means where they'll be potentially homeless. The money will be allocated for rental units, rental assistance, security deposits, utility payments, moving costs, motel and hotel vouchers, outreach, case management, administration, equipment, and a system which we call HMIS, which tracks these families from homelessness into home ownership. As you can see on the screen, those are the proposed units. We need to spend the money over a 3-year period, and we have allocated, more or less amortized our costs based on what we see in the market right now in terms of rents. So this is a public hearing for solicit comments.
Okay, this is public hearing?
Move to close public hearing.
We have a motion to close by Commissioner Camarillo?
Second.
We have a second, Commissioner
Cisneros.
Cisneros makes a motion, Commissioner Camarillo seconds it. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Did we do item 12?
We need item 12.
Okay. Item 12, would you read it, please, City Secretary?
Item 12, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2009-016 to rezone from dwelling Z to light retail G for .266 acres of Lot 18, Block 5 of Villanueva subdivision located near US 281 and Alton Glore Boulevard.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, this property is on US 281, close to the intersection of Alton Glore. This is a proposed tire shop. Plan Zoning Commission ready now to approve this application to you. And that's the location right there.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody against this? Okay, can we have a motion to close?
To close?
Second.
Motion to close by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Terrani. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? This is an action item.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Terrani. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Item 18, public comment period.
We have Fernando Ruiz.
The order, Commissioner, is Ernesto de Leon is number 1.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have it backwards here then. Let me have the order here. Okay, I see it. One, Mr. De Leon, then Ben Castillo. This one doesn't have a number. Mina Garcia, I guess. This one doesn't have a number either. Leticia Flores, then Ms. Diaz, and Fernando Ruiz. Okay, in that order. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. De Leon.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. My name is Ernesto De Leon. I respectfully come before you this evening in regards to the moving of the Texas Department of Agriculture export pins or export facilities. Now they are at the northwest area of our Brownsville International Airport. I was totally unaware of the project by our city. It was last week that by coincidence I found out about this project. I was told that it had been bid on over $1 million for the reconstruction of this facility. And I think it's going to rebid again. Some 2 or 3 years ago, I would have taken a bulldozer and dozed it off because they were in bad need of repairs and they were shot. However, I visited the area yesterday and I was amazed at the totally turnaround and the way the facility looks. They have done a tremendous job of improving it, and the cleanliness is unreal. They ought to be commended for it. In the early 70s, I worked for the Texas Department of Agriculture, promoting Texas agriculture and livestock products throughout the Latin American countries. I saw the need of these facilities built along the border, and by luck, John C. White agreed with me back then, and they were constructed in several different cities, beginning in El Paso, Del Rio, Eagle Pass, Laredo, Brownsville, and Houston Intercontinental Airport. And that was used with state funds. No city funds were ever used for this facility. The city receives less than $1,000 per month on these facilities, which is no money that the city can brag about. Now, the ones that benefit from it is not our citizens, but the ranchers from up north of this part of the state and other states like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Oklahoma, and others. I hope that if this project proceeds with no city monies are to be used, that can be spent on projects that our city desperately need. However, if this project does proceed, I would respectfully suggest that whoever designed the plans for these pens has had the foresight to consult with Mexican federal authorities, Zagarpa, to ask for their specs for the export pens that they will approve. If this has not been done, I will bet you that they might not be in compliance. And that would mean that they would not be approved, which also means that federal veterinarian from Matamoros will not be permitted to come over and inspect the animals being exported. Thus, they cannot cross unless they are smuggled across, which I definitely do not recommend.
I'm sorry, former Commissioner, your time is up. But may I advise you to get with Larry Brown, please?
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Get with Larry Brown. I'm sure your input would be welcome.
Yeah, I've been with him.
Thank you.
And I would suggest, or I would respectfully ask that I be asked to put my input, because I guarantee you, if there are ticks found on those animals, Mayor, they will need to be sprayed before they cross. And there have not been any provisions made for the chemicals, the wash, to go direct. They'll be going directly into the sewer.
Thank you, Commissioner, but the time limit is 3 minutes. I'm sorry. Get with Larry Brown. I'm sure he would value your input. Next,
We have Ben Castillo. Is
we
he still
have
there?
Ben Castillo.
Ben Castillo is no longer here.
Okay. Then we have
Mayra Garcia.
Mayra Garcia. Is she here? Please come forward. And please
Mayra
try to abide by
Garcia
the 3 minutes. It's kind of hard. I feel, I don't want to appear to be rude, trying to cut people off, but you got to respect the 3 minute time limit. I'll let you, about to end, I may let you just go on a little bit more, but try to stay within 3 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening. Mine's very brief. My name is Mayra Garcia, and I'm the Executive Director for Valley Initiative for Development and Advancement, also known as VIDA. And I'm here accompanied by many of our students, our Chairman of the Board, David Oliveira, who's been a long-time board member and now our Chairman, and our most recent board member, Mr. David Hanley, who is the CEO for Valley Baptist in Brownsville, and several of our staff members. It's been a lot of hours. We're all here today for no other reason than to thank you very much, the leadership of Brownsville, for the support that you've provided VIDA in the development of a skilled workforce. VIDA services 4 counties in the area, and we've partnered with 10 different cities and economic development groups. One of the counties is actually funding us. And at a time when the site selection criteria has shifted for corporations all in the United States, it used to be that they'd come and look at our area and look at head count. I just want workforce, a head count. Now, the number 3 site selection criteria is a qualified workforce, a skilled labor force. And with your partnership and that of the education institutions, we're able to be very proactive in the development of that skilled workforce for demand occupations. More specifically, the mission statement for VIDA, for those of you that may not be real familiar with us, is to assist the underserved population, those that are unemployed, underemployed, and on public assistance, gain access to higher education and vocational training. Higher education ideally in the form of an associate's degree for those demand occupations, but certainly 1-year certifications, as well as some short-term vocational for the very, very high demand occupations. The profile of the students, as I said, are usually adults, 25 and up, have been out of the classroom for a very long time. The recruitment effort is to bring them in And the core component to the success of the VIVA program is the intense case management, which addresses some of the social and financial barriers outside of curriculum-based requirements like the tuition and the books and the fees. There are other things that need to be addressed to keep them in the classroom. VIVA boasts 84% retention rate. That's for those of us who are involved in all sorts of different levels of education. An 84% retention rate in a program of study is phenomenal. And that is based on our career counselors that do the job skills, the soft skills, the life skills, helping them budget their money, helping them address all of those things that will not allow them to quit. I'm proud to say to this group here that for Brownsville, that retention rate is 94%. We're midway in the third year of Brownsville's support of the program. In that 3.5 years, we've served. Can I just tell you how much you guys are getting paid?
Go ahead.
May I invite you, because I think there's a lot of questions. I know I have some. May I invite you to submit in writing for a workshop? And I think I would welcome to hear more about this. And if you'd submit it to the city manager, I would appreciate it. And we'll have a workshop with this.
If I may say 3 more lines.
Okay.
The people that have graduated through the VIVA program through Brownsville's funding, on the average, those went from unemployment in the allied health to an average of $24 an hour with benefits. In the education, unemployment, public assistance to $15 an hour, and in the vocational to $10 an hour, and that's thanks to your support. We are very appreciative of it.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
And the invitation's open, okay?
Yes, sir, I'll take you up on it.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Okay, now we have Leticia Flores.
Leticia Flores.
Is she here?
She's actually one of the students that left to have finals. Is it possible for our chairman to say something in her stead?
Is it okay with the commission to yield Leticia Flores' time to one of the
Fine with me.
board members? Please do. David?
Promise I won't use her 3 minutes. I was wondering where Mr. Ruiz had gone. I hadn't seen him at a college board meeting in a while. Now I know where he is. He's here keeping you guys busy.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, I know. The only person you're missing is Dagoberto. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, thank you. Thank you for your for all that you've done and the funding. I will tell you, the city of McAllen got behind this program in 1995. They fund us to the tune of about $900,000. They do it for a reason, because we have tremendous results. Congressman Hinojosa helped us get a $5 million Department of Labor grant along with Congressman Ortiz, and we've had tremendous success, about 94%. And I can tell you that we're spending your money wisely, and we appreciate your help. And we hope to increase that funding in the future. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, David. Diaz, is that right?
Be Mr. Reese would be next.
Is it Hilario?
Hilario.
Mr. Diaz, Hilario Diaz.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Hilario Diaz, and tonight I am here as chairman of the Rio Grande Valley Sustainability Council. This is an organization that was formed last summer in order to address energy conservation issues in the entire valley. The organization is made up of nonprofit, cities, private businesses from both Cameron and Hidalgo counties. What we have taken on is to, in anticipation and before all the hoopla about energy conservation and the energy block grants and the weatherization money, we had already started planning a conference to address these issues. And the conference is going to take place May 26th, Tuesday, and it's going to be at the McAllen Convention Center. We will be opening up registration at 7:30, and the conference will end at approximately 3 o'clock, 3:30 that afternoon. We will provide a luncheon, and we will provide breakfast in the sense of coffee and pastries and that kind of thing. The workshops, if you want to look at more detail, address two primary audiences, which is local governments and private business. One of the workshops that we have on tap is Walmart and HEB sitting on a panel together to talk about why they do what they do with energy conservation and sustainability and how it impacts on their profit factors. The same thing can be said for cities, school districts, that any time that you save money, it's money that you have to spend for other purposes or for other things that are needed within your operations. So we urge you to look at this. We have some very fine speakers coming down. Judge Cascos is going to be on a panel, so is Judge Salinas. We have the mayor of McAllen is going to do a welcome. So it's a $25 registration fee. That's a token thing. And we promise to have a good turnout, and we just want people to show up. The thing is that the information is going to be presented there. If people don't show up, then it's lost, in the sense that, you know, I don't have to listen to these folks, as I've listened and I've heard these people before. But it's the public that needs to know, and that's the public that the ones that are going to benefit from this. The private businesses, if you don't want to listen to Walmart and HEB as to why they're doing what they're doing and saving money and impacting on their net profits, then there's something wrong with you as a businessman. All right? Thank you very much.
Mr. Diaz.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Reese, Fernando Reese. Save the best for last.
Commissioner and Mayor, today I would like to inform you that I want to thank Mr. Truani for accepting my call, and I want to thank Mr. Garza, who is leaving us, and probably after November the 9th, he will no longer be with us, but I wish you the best in whatever you endeavor. Mr. Cisneros and Mr. Camarillo, I salute you, because it takes a lot of courage to be a candidate for any position. It takes a lot of courage to be up front. It takes a lot of man to accept things and, you know, and have to face consequences sometimes, because that's how it works. We're not right all the time. And of course, my mayor, I have to congratulate him, because he's always on top of things. And when I meet him at the pause, well, then we're in the same team there. But sometimes we are oppositions here, but that's okay. I want to inform now the constituencies, you that are looking right now on television, that I have been reading the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And it makes reference, you know, to how the African American struggled in this country to be free, to be able to vote. The process that we have had this past week, where we had 1,050 votes in 5 days or 6, that is called voter apathy. And the reason that I have to call it to your attention is because you're home sitting there on the television. Call your friends and tell this, we need to go out and vote. I don't care who you vote for, but you have to participate in the process. And once your candidates are in, then you continue, because that's where the political process begins, when you attend the meetings and you challenge the commission and the mayor, and you give your points of view. And sometimes they laugh at you and sometimes they don't, and whatever. You have to be here, because this is the American way. A lot of these people suffered a lot. A lot of them were hanged. The March at Selma, Martin Luther King, all these names that Mrs. Parks, all these people that I am visiting with right now, what they had to go through. And you haven't gone through anything. And yet you cannot go to the voting place and cast your vote. So I urge all of you, the constituents and my followers here in Brownsville, to go and vote, no matter who you vote for, but vote. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for reminding Brownsville citizens to participate this Saturday. Participate this Saturday in the election. There's really no excuse for it. All it takes is about 2-3 minutes, and go out and participate. We have item 19 and 20, but before we go there, On behalf of the city commission and everybody here, we want to extend our condolences to the lady in Harlingen who succumbed to the virus. I was told it was from Harlingen, the lady, to their family and all their loved ones for the unfortunate loss there to them. Based on that, we just urge everybody to use good hygiene and don't be so mobile and just take care of yourself. Item 19, please.
Mayor, I move to, if we can, move up 24 to now, because
24?
I believe the person has to.
Okay, we move 24. We have a motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Terani. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 24.
Item 24, consideration and action on resolution number 2009-033, authorizing the creation of a task force and further authorizing city staff to draft an energy policy for the city of Brownsville and appoint members to said task force.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. My name is Roberto Medrano. I'm the Community Development Manager for the Planning Department. We're here to ask for your support and to pass the resolution before you. What this resolution would do is it would establish a task force to draft an energy policy for the city of Brownsville. It would also allow for the appointment of members, and there is a list attached to your agenda item. There are some members there that are staff. We are not asking for them to be appointed to this particular task force, but those that are not. It also leaves whoever is selected chair to have the discretion to appoint or to select more members to this task force as needed in order to accomplish their goals. This particular task force would also be responsible to bring to you recommendations for expenditure of $1.7 million that is coming through the Department of Energy. This is a stimulus money, and we wish to seek your support there.
1 point what?
Pardon me? $1.7 million.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is this money eligible for PUB's, our energy company? Is it eligible for PUB?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, because I went to the Kennedy Ranch, Beto, and I would encourage everybody to go there. I mean, it's awesome to see all those windmills. They had like 200 windmills there. Each one costs $5 million, and each generates about 2.4 megawatts. And we want to do the desal plant to where it will require like 5 windmills to help it be self-sustaining, going green, to where it doesn't require as much energy to keep it running. So if this money does qualify for that, as you know, I don't know, maybe we can consider including PUB in this task force.
Absolutely. We're suggesting that all utility companies that serve the city of Brownsville be included here. Also, the University of Texas Brownsville, there are some architects that deal with green programs. So we do need some wide participation from experts here in Brownsville.
I would make a recommendation to appoint Fernando Sainz, the Director of Energy, their electricity. He's an engineer. And I think he would be Fernando Sainz. I think he would be an excellent.
I think Fernando would be an excellent choice.
Yeah, I think he'd be an excellent choice. I mean, he's an engineer. He's in that, so I think he would bring some to the commissioner, to the committee.
I also would like to see Mr. Hilario Diaz being considered because he's very well informed with energy conservation.
He's the chair.
Yes,
He's
Mr.
the
Diaz
chairman
is
now, right?
Mr. Diaz is on the list. Yes.
Okay, but I mean the committee's already. They've already met.
Have the committees met? Has the committee met? The task force?
A couple of times informally.
You can appoint new member.
Well, we haven't appointed anybody yet. That's what we're here for.
You're here to get information from us.
To seek the blessing of the commission so that we can appoint this task force and the committee members.
I think it's good. It's a good idea. It's an excellent idea.
Thank you.
If we're going green, we need to start thinking of how we can use these resources to go green. Actually, go green.
I agree. We currently have a couple of programs in the city. One is with the STEP committee that Mr. Hilario Diaz and actually the city of Brownsville, myself, are on that committee. They're responsible for the energy conferences that have been taking place over the past 3 years at the ITEC. We also have money allocated to the Brownsville Affordable Homeownership Corporation, in which they're building houses at 70% HERS rating. What that basically means is that they operate at 30% more efficient than a typical house, the same square footage. But these are programs that are going on, outside the main current, I would say, of the city of Brownsville. We would like, for the city of Brownsville to take a leadership role by passing this resolution and proceeding with it. And finally, I would like to, we do have some support, and I apologize to them. They've been very patient here. I would like for them to stand up. Those that are sporting a green shirt, we do have support for the program, and I would like to thank them for it.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cisneros, second by Commissioner Camarillo. Any discussion? And
Congratulations.
thank you for bringing this to us.
Thank
all
you,
in
sir.
favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And thank you all for being involved with this too, okay? You do make a difference. Thank you very much. Melissa, everybody, thank you.
Item 19, consideration and action on resolution number 2009-030, which supports the efforts of the Cameron County Regional Mobility Authority with the submittal of a pass-through financing application to the Texas Department of Transportation, which incorporates these needed state system projects, and that the City Commission requests the Texas Transportation Commission for their timely review and approval of the CCRMA's program of pass-through financing project identified as the East Loop project.
Mayor and Commissioners, good evening.
Pete, state your name and welcome to our chamber.
My name, for the record, my name is Pete Sepulveda. I'm the coordinator for the Cameron County Regional Mobility Authority. The Texas Department of Transportation has a call for projects under the pass-through financing program. There's $300 million that are available for this program over the next 10 years. So statewide, $300 million is not a lot of money. The Cameron County Regional Mobility Authority is developing an application to fund the East Loop project. And the way this program works is that in this case, the RMA would finance the project up front, and then based on a level of traffic, TxDOT would reimburse the RMA a certain percentage. It will not be 100% reimbursable by TxDOT, but the RMA, working with the Port of Brownsville, working with TxDOT, has some funding sources that can be leveraged and be able to get in a position to be able to fund the project up front and then negotiate a reimbursement percentage from TxDOT. As I mentioned, there's only $300 million available statewide. The East Loop project alone, we're looking at about $60 to $80 million. So it's going to be a very, very competitive process. We'll be competing, with Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, El Paso. We feel we've got a good project in the East Loop project because it'll connect an international bridge with a deep water port. We will eliminate congestion on a major corridor in the city of Brownsville. We will make that corridor a lot more safer. Right now, between the Veterans Bridge and the Port of Brownsville, there's 13 different intersections or areas that are major concerns. Some are signal lights and some are schools that are within that corridor. We feel by moving the corridor to the East Loop, that'll become less congested, a lot safer, and make for a much better flow of traffic between the International Bridge and the Port of Brownsville. We've gone to the different entities in Cameron County, the Port of Brownsville, and gotten resolutions in support of this application to TxDOT. The submittal deadline is May the 12th. On June the 25th, the Texas Highway Commission will select projects. If our project is selected, then we will do a more detailed financial analysis on how we can fund the project. We've got to show proof to TxDOT that the RMA has the ability to undertake the project financially. If we're able to do that, then on July the 26th, the commission would make the final approval, and by that time, we would negotiate a percentage reimbursement with TxDOT. So that's the process that we'll go through, and like I said, it'll be a very competitive process, but we've got, our application will include letter of support of our entire delegation, state representative and our state senator, and so we feel we've got a good shot at getting the project funded.
And this would help us also remove the hazardous transportation, hazardous materials cargo off our city streets and keep it, isolated in the corridor to the port.
Move to approve.
There a motion to approve by Commissioner Terray, second by Commissioner Longoria. Any further discussion?
Sounds like a good
Thank you.
thing.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Pete. Item 20.
Item 20, consideration and action to acknowledge the city's comprehensive annual financial report and single audit report for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2008.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, this item actually was already presented to the Audit Committee last Friday, May 1st, and we have Mr. Carlos Barrera with the firm of Long & Shilton who will present the report to the City Commission.
Mayor, members of the Commission, I know it's been a long night and it's not over with yet, so I'm going to try to do this in 2 minutes. I'm serious.
Great.
This is the comprehensive annual financial report for the City of Brownsville. It has been already sent to the Government Finance Officers Association for certification. You have received certification for 32 consecutive years. This will be the 33rd. And it's got to be one of the longest streets in Texas, I know, because I've seen the report, and I don't think there's about 5 other communities throughout the state that have that long of sequence of certification. Page 21 is our report. Our report basically gives the city a clean opinion on the financial statements. The clean opinion basically is an unqualified opinion. It basically says that the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects as of September 30th, 2008. And essentially that's what we've given you in prior years. Very quickly, page 25. You'll see the second bullet, at least under the financial highlights. The most salient issue here is the fund balance in the general fund increased $973,000, 5.53% over the last year. The ending balance this year, as of September 30th, was $18.5 million. Flipping that over to the next page, to page 37. This gives you all of your fund balances of all of the funds you have within the city. You'll see the $18.5 million in the general fund, of which $16.5 is unreserved. Now that basically gives you a 19.7% of expenditures. Your goal has traditionally been about 15%. You're above that currently, at least at 9/30 of '08. Obviously, the economic issues facing the city this current year, next year, may dip that a little bit. I think the estimate from Pete is that we probably will see that go down this year and next year. Considering the situation most of the country is facing, that is not unusual. Flipping over very quickly to page 57 is your debt with respect to your long-term liabilities. You'll see the last column, fiscal year 2008, you had approximately $174 million of bonds payable. Overall debt's about $182 million. Lastly, the one financial statement that I told the audit committee that if you really want to look at from a bird's eye view is found on page 65. It kind of goes this way. That's your statement of activities, and it's on a government-wide basis. So you're not just looking at general fund, you're looking at all funds all the way across, including component entities like PUB and et cetera. And what it does in a snapshot, it tells you very quickly how much the city needs to spend every year to provide services for its citizenry and where the money comes from. As a result of that, if you have a hard time reading this, it's supposed to be easy to read. I know it's not necessarily the best thing to read at night, but if you have any questions on this, I'll be more than glad to try to go through them one-on-one with you, or if you just call my office, I'll go through it. But that's your real statement that you really need to look at. Finally, We also issued a financial report for compliance. We did have one finding with respect to that, and it's in your, and that's that report. And with that, my report's done.
Any questions?
Who to acknowledge?
Second.
We have a motion to acknowledge by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Terriani. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 21.
Good
Thank
night.
you, Carlos. Sorry to make you wait so long.
Pete, how come you can't be like that, Pete?
You got one back quick.
Item 21.
Item 21, consideration and action to acknowledge the Deputy City Manager, CFO's financial statements and cash investment report for the City of Brownsville for the second quarter ending March 31st, 2009.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, this is the report for the first quarter, actually the second quarter of the year, March 31st. This report here is a more detailed report that you can certainly look at it. It has also a memo from me describing the activities of the period through March 30, which is 6 months. A PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to go very quick like here. There are some financial concerns. This fiscal year, we ended the year, as Mr. Barrera indicated to you, we ended the year with a nice fund balance of 18 million last year. But there are some concerns this year as far as revenues. We see a decline in bridge crossings at Veterans Bridge based on the numbers that we have received so far. We're looking at approximately a 30% decline from the prior year and also 41% from budget. On the sales tax, we see a 2% decline from the same period as last year, also 5.28% less than what's in the budget. There's also a decline in the fines and forfeitures of about 22% from the prior year, and we're at 24.5, also off from budget numbers. There is also a decline in license and permits of 28% from prior year and 36.6 from the current year budget. And there is also, as always, a rise in medical insurance claims, and then we're also looking for retirement rate increases for the next few years. There are positive signs, and some of the positive signs are the property tax collections are within the budget right now. It's a little bit above when we collected last year, 5.4. We also see increases in fees and services of 5.6 above prior year and about 7.8 for the current year. And most of this is related to the landfill collections. We're up 15.37 from the prior year and about 8.65% budget. And the other good news is overall expenditures will not exceed the FY 2009 budget expenditures. This is a history of the general fund. The first column obviously is the years, and then the second column is the budget fund balance. Right now, our fund balance budget shows a 12,009,849. I anticipate that this number would probably be around 11 million at the end of the year. And this is the balance sheet of the general fund, and the fund balance as of March 31st, 2009 was 22.9 million compared to 23.2 in last year. This is an analysis of the budget fund balance for the general fund. As you can see, there is a decrease in the fund balance from beginning to end, about 6.5 million. And again, these are all estimated. Then on March 31st, this is what has happened in the general fund. Right now we have a revenues over expenditures of 4.3 million. That number will decline. Most of the revenues Some of the revenues in the property tax have been already collected, so there's going to be a decrease. There's going to be a bigger increase in expenses. So there, as a result, we may have at the end of the year expenses exceeding revenues. This is a breakdown of all the revenues in the general fund through March 31st, and so far to date we have generated $46.2 million. These are the expenses. The expenses so far to date are $41,914,484. Sales tax. This is just a history of what happened when we had the peso devaluation in '82. It took us 6 years to recover from the high number in '82. It took us 6 years to get back to the. Actually, we increased it in '89, but it took 6 years. Then we had another peso devaluation in '94. That took about 2 to 3 years to recover. So far this year, we're at 2% below, 5.28% budget. Estimated, if the trend continues, estimated shortfall of 1.3 million. This is the sales tax from 2003 to 2009. As you can see, there is a dip in 2009 based on the current situation right now with sales tax. Peso devaluation. We had a very good rate. Actually, the peso had a good rate against the dollar in August of 2008, and since then it has dropped, the peso against the dollar, to where a point on February 28th it actually the dollar went up to 1504. So that was a major cause for some of the decline in our sales tax, because we do rely quite a bit on our neighbors to the south for retail sales. And this is an example of what happened. Let's assume that a person with pesos that came and bought merchandise on August 6th of 2008, if he bought $100 worth of merchandise at that time in February when it went to 1504, he would have actually been paying 152.05 if you convert the pesos to dollars. Then at the end of April, it got better. That $100 pair of shoes now he was paid around 139.15, and at today's rate we're at 1366. That $100 pair of shoes will be 138. Still, there's a 38% gain, the dollar over the peso. And of course, this makes it more expensive for our citizens or our friends to the south when they bring in their pesos and buy merchandise in our city. Going back to the Convention and Tourism Fund, some of the expenses have already been major part of the expenses have already been done. Right now, we do have a little deficit. Right now, on the hotel motel tax, we're seeing a drop. Maybe about 2%. Community development, we can move forward. Non-banded, we can move forward. Debt service, we can move forward. Landfill tipping fee, we're at revenues under expenditures by 14,000, small amount. Airport, right now the airport does not have a transfer from the general fund. We anticipate a building sale that will come in possibly this month, and that will certainly reduce the deficit. But this is something that we're going to be looking at in 2010. We're not going to have that building sale, so that means the general fund is going to have to come up with a difference. It could be around $2 million. That's not budgeted right now. The bridge, I want to go to the next one. The bridge, this is a schedule of all the way through March, compares 2008 versus 2009, and you can see there's a drop of 29.74% as compared to last year of 359,686. If the trend continues, we may see a decline of a 1.1 shortfall as far as budget is concerned. Right now, budget is running 40% below expectations. Next, motor vehicle, I'll skip that one. Bus, right now with the, we're at 2,114,805. The federal government picks up the $1,057,000, and then the rest comes from local funds. The golf course, there is more expenses than revenues through March of $104,310. The medical insurance fund, as you can see, this is the last column shows March 31st. We have receipts or contributions of $4.9 million, expenses of $4.5, so we're up plus $341, but where there's always a lag of about 90 days as far as claims. So I estimate that we would include all the claims that have not been paid but have been incurred. So we will have a shortfall at the end of the year. We are also required to show you the investments of the city, and this gives you all the where the money gets invested. We also invest for the BCIC, the Public Improvement District, the GBIC. Total investments for the city at last year were $97.9 million. This year we're at $94.8 million. And that concludes my presentation.
Move to acknowledge the report.
Second.
Oh, one more item. Sorry. If you look at the book on page 23 on this book, and the reason why I want to emphasize this is because of the energy grant that was presented to you earlier. We have some buildings here that we have the City Hall, we have the City Plaza, we have the Tapiz building that needs some help as far as air conditioning, that we know we can reduce our bill for power usage. If you look on page 22 of the book, you'll see that right now we are at $128,000 more in utilities spent for the 6 months of the year. So we know that we can use some of that energy money that's $1.7 million and apply it to some of our buildings here and try to reduce some of the utility costs. So that can be done. So I thought I'd just let you know that we certainly want to be part of that package of $1.7 million.
You got it, Pete.
Mayor, may I make a comment real quick? May I make a comment? Pete, when you mentioned about the reducing of the energy and all that, I know Chief Perez, you and I talked about at one point where if we looked at the fleet and the departments that use that just need a regular vehicle to travel amongst the city, and maybe consider buying a hybrid vehicle and see how that cost is saved or not versus a regular 4-cylinder 4-door vehicle, and see how we can kind of test the waters and how we could reduce costs that way. And like City Secretary's office said, all they do is they drive back and forth, but you wouldn't necessarily need a utility vehicle. You need a regular vehicle just to go around the city. I hope at one point, if not the task force can look at that, the Energy Task Force can look at that as well.
One other thing.
Commissioner Durant.
Pete, I want to thank you for putting all this information on the website. If the viewers want to go to the city website under the Finance Department, the documents, Pete has put the budget from, I think, 1998 all the way, from 1998 all the way through 2009 on the website. It's in a PDF format. It's downloadable. Thank you, Pete.
Good job, Pete. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to acknowledge by Commissioner Longoria?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Camarillo. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 22.
Item 22, consideration and action on resolution number 2009-031, granting a utility easement on 0.320 tract of land in the vicinity of 1600 East Elizabeth Street.
Who are we granting the easement to?
Basically granting a utility easement to the university. The area just south of the heavy line there is owned by, north of it is owned by the Chamber of Commerce. Down below it is owned by the city, but years ago we gave the Chamber of Commerce a use agreement, so they're actually in position to use the property. The college would like an easement to run utility lines underground in the area that's just north of Gorgas Drive. There's a 15-foot area. And, no, I'm sorry, just south of Gorgas Drive. You can see it marked in red. And the lines would run through that area and go into that red dot in the yellow, which is, take them
Are
underground.
they paying for the easement?
Pardon me?
Are they paying for?
No, they're not paying for the easement. They've asked us to just grant them an easement.
Why? Let me ask you this: is it legal?
Yes.
What would a normal person pay for that?
Pardon me?
What would a normal business pay for that?
I have no idea,
Can you
Commissioner.
find that out?
Yeah,
I
we can
move
find out.
table.
Before we do that, just out of caution, city attorney, assistant city attorney, I understand by state law we cannot give, but I don't know, this may be different because it's an easement, I don't know, but I just need some clarity, that's all. I'm not against it, I just,
Table?
I want to make sure, okay?
Are we
For the next
giving, are
meeting.
we
have a
giving the
motion?
property, or we're just allowing them to just dig and put?
No, we're
put
just
in-
allowing, what we're,
And I think-
what we're doing is we're giving them permission to run utility lines underneath our property.
So they won't own that property?
No.
So there's no giving of any property?
No,
They're
but I
just putting-
understand, but it also, it may, I don't know, I don't know how it qualifies under the state statute, that's
Yeah,
all
I
I'm
don't-
asking. I'm not saying I'm against it, I'm just saying make sure that we're not, because we are giving something, it's got value.
I understand.
It's got value, okay, it's not like it doesn't have value. Normally, when something like that is done, people pay for something like that, but also how, if it does or doesn't adversely impact the future value of that land or the use of that land, and if the chamber's okay with it, those are the things that.
Yeah, the chamber's already signed off on it.
Okay,
Yeah, but
okay.
it doesn't
well,
belong to them, it belongs to the city, not the chamber.
That's all I'm saying. Just let's make sure we stay on the right course. Okay, we have a motion table. Commissioner Atkinson made the motion, seconded by Commissioner Longoria. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Table? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 23.
Item 23, consideration and action on resolution number 2009-032, authorizing the City of Brownsville Department of Planning and Community Development to initiate studies of certain areas within the Brownsville extraterritorial jurisdiction for possible annexation into the city.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, this is just a resolution authorizing us to start studying generally areas we might annex in the future. Some of the areas we'd like to focus on include central infill areas like along El Jardín Heights Road, also along 281 to the west, and some areas north of 100, just to evaluate, see if they're good candidates, look at population projections, what the police response time would be as compared to the county, and maybe move forward with some regular annexations.
You're just simply reviewing this information, correct?
I'm sorry?
You're simply doing this for review, for future reference, correct?
Correct.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Girardi, second by Commissioner Camarillo. Any further discussion?
I'd like to say thanks to Ben for putting this on, because there are parts, especially around my area, that I would like to see added. We're losing all that tax base. Talking about Central Avenue, over there by Martinell Road, those are places where I think the city should benefit from having these houses up there. All right.
Great.
Okay, we have a motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 26.
Thank you.
Item 26, consideration and action to award a contract for the 2007 CIP project contract number 1 for street paving and drainage improvements for East 13th Street from Madison Street to US 7783 southbound frontage road.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. Staff recommendation is to award a contract for the 2007 CIP project, contract number 1 for street paving and drainage improvements for East 13th Street from Madison Street to the US 7783 southbound frontage road to Peterson Construction of Los Fresnos, Texas, which is the responsible bidder for a total amount of $987,128. It is this amount came in under the engineer's cost estimate by $324,722. Completion time for this construction, it's 210 consecutive calendar days, and funding is in place.
Second.
Motion is second. Motion by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Troy. Let me ask you this. Was
Yes.
anybody locally from within 5%?
No, they were not within the 5%.
There was one.
I'm sorry.
Well, 5.6%.
Yeah, well, but the statute says is within 5% from the lowest bid.
Okay, so there is one local at 5.6%, and we would not benefit from rebidding this or anything like that?
Well, we're not allowed. I mean, under local government code, it says
We had
that
enough bidders.
they have to be within
We had enough
5%.
bidders.
Are they on the rotation?
And
Don't
anybody
we have
that
a-
had a concern has been talked to by me, and they understand.
Yeah, but
We
are-
went through a process, and this is the best.
But are they part of the rotation? Don't the city have a rotation?
No, this is a seal bid. This is not a rotation.
and let me
Maybe
ask
you're
you-
talking about the engineering services. This
Oh,
is-
okay.
This is
And
not.
do they all meet the guidelines of the minimum 850 or whatever it was?
Yes, that was stated as part of the package.
criteria?
That is correct.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 27. Thank you, Mr. Luna.
Item 27, consideration and action to award a term contract for landscape design and landscape consulting services for the city of Brownsville.
Staff recommendation is to award a term contract for landscape irrigation design and landscape irrigation consulting services for the City of Brownsville and Beautification Committee to SSP Design of Brownsville, Texas, for a year contract based on a $38,400 per year for the Beautification Committee for projects that are listed as part of your package, and it will be invoiced monthly, and the amount will be $3,200 over the 12-month period. Also, SSP Design will provide consultation services upon request from the City of Brownsville, and that will be at a rate of $50 per hour.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Commissioner Camarillo made the motion.
Yes.
Second by Commissioner Troyani. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 28.
Item 28, consideration and action to award a term contract for purchase and delivery of AEP prime oils and SS1 asphalt emulsions for the city of Brownsville.
Staff recommendation is to award a term contract for the purchase and delivery of AEP prime oil and the SS1 asphalt emulsions for the City of Brownsville to Ergon Asphalt and Emulsions of Austin, Texas, the lowest responsible bidder, for the prices below, which is the AEP prime oil at $2.5379 per gallon and the SS1 emulsion asphalt for $1.9379 per gallon. Price includes delivery and pump and hose service. Money is in place.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, second by Commissioner Troyani. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 29.
Item 29, consideration and action to award a term contract for purchase and delivery of vehicles for the Brownsville Police Department.
Staff recommendation is to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of 34 new model 2009 police patrol vehicles, Crown Victorias, to the police department, to Philpat Motors of Nederland, Texas, the low responsible bidder, in the amount of $21,202.36 per each unit, and for a total amount of $720,880.24 for the total of 34 units. Delivery time for these vehicles will be within 30 days. The second recommendation will be to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of 6 new model 2009 F-150 crew cab, four-wheel drive, gasoline engine trucks for the Brownsville Police Department to Tipton Ford of Brownsville, Texas, the low responsible bidder, in the amount of $23,198 per each unit for an extended price of $139,188 for the 6 units. Delivery time for these 6 trucks will be 90 to 120 days. And the last recommendation will be to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of one new model 2009 E250 full-size cargo van, gasoline engine to Philpott Motors of Nederland, Texas, the low responsible bidder, in the amount of $20,572.46. And another new model 2009 E250 passenger van gasoline engine for the same department, the police department, to Philpott Motors of Nederland, Texas, the low responsible bidder, in the amount of $21,350.46. They also include the backup cameras, which is an option of $390 apiece. This is the delivery for these two vans is 60 to 90 days. Funding is in place.
Move to approve.
Second.
Get Cassie. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second?
Mr. Garza
Okay,
did.
Commissioner Garza makes a second. Commissioner Longoria makes a motion. Any discussion?
Mayor, I do have a question regarding the Tipton's bid price, and you initiated the local preference of why did...
I wanted to mention something. The calculation of the 5%, it was wrong. Tipton came in at 5.17%, so they're above the 5% that is allowed under local government code.
Okay, let me ask you just a question. I think I know the answer. Did our local dealers participate? They did.
Yes, they have the trucks as part of these recommendations. Philpott is going to have the police vehicles and the two passenger vans.
Okay.
I mean cargo vans.
Any further discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Item 30. Item 30, consideration and action to amend the professional services contract for Phase 3, final design, construction document preparation, and Phase 4, construction support services for the Brownsville Urban Systems Multimodal Facility to incorporate modification number 2 and 3.
Staff recommendation is to amend the professional services contract for Phase 3 final design construction documents, preparation, and Phase 4 construction support services for the Brownsville Urban System Bus Multimodal Facility to incorporate modifications 2 and 3 with Carter and Burgess Incorporated of Dallas, Texas. These changes...
Motion approved by Commissioner Atkinson, second by Commissioner Camarillo. Any questions or discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second.
All opposed, motion carries. Motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? We have a second by Commissioner Troyani. Motion made by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.